It like it is. Catch him every weekday on Newsmax 2.
Humana Medicare Advantage plans. Carry this card, and you could have the power to unlock benefits beyond Original Medicare. These are convenient plans that offer all of the benefits of Original Medicare, plus extra coverage and benefits. With a Humana Medicare Advantage plan, you could get doctor, hospital, and prescription drug coverage in one convenient plan, with $0 copays on hundreds of prescriptions. Most plans include dental coverage, including $0 copays for covered preventive services, vision coverage with eye exams, and an allowance for eyeglasses or contact lenses. Even hearing benefits with routine hearing exams and coverage toward hearing aids. That's more than you get with Original Medicare. But it gets even better because Humana offers $0 or low monthly plan premiums. You'll also get $0 copays for routine vaccines at in-network retail pharmacies, $0 copays for telehealth visits, and $0 copays for in-network preventive services. Plus, worldwide coverage for emergency and urgent care when you travel. And Medicare Advantage plans ensure your covered medical costs, including all doctor and emergency care, will never go above a maximum out-of-pocket amount that you know beforehand. Imagine benefits like these in one convenient plan. Plus, you'll have access to Humana's multiple large plan networks of doctors, hospitals, and pharmacies. So if you want more from Medicare, call now to see if there's a plan in your area that could give you extra coverage and benefits, including coverage for doctor, hospital, and prescription drugs, plus a cap on your out-of-pocket medical costs. And most plans include coverage for dental, vision, even hearing. A knowledgeable, licensed Humana sales agent will explain your coverage options, answer any questions you have, even help you enroll over the phone. Call today and we'll also send this free guide. Humana, a more human way to healthcare.
Hi folks, we're back. If you've been injured in an accident that's not your fault and you don't have an attorney, listen up. We have legal professionals standing by to answer your questions and tell you what your case is potentially worth. Pick up the phone, call now.
Welcome back. Oliver North and Fawn Hall, well, both key figures in the Iran-Contra scandal are married. Remember, Fawn Hall, now 65, was North's secretary at the time on the National Security Council in the 1980s during the secret sale of arms to Iran and diversion of profits to rebels forces in Nicaragua.
Yeah, so in terms of what's happening now in their marriage, they denied having had an affair, but it looks like they're married now, and we all remember when Fawn actually testified against North. But for some time, I guess they've been connected, and now they're finally married.
Gordon Robertson and Terry Mewson bring you the 700 Club. Watch weekday mornings at 11 on the Dove TV. Encouraging and informative.
Well, good morning. Good morning. Welcome to Mornings on the Dove on this Monday morning. He's back. He's like a bad habit. He returns.
I remembered my way home.
Yeah. And, you sneak around, and then all of a sudden the bills come due and he comes to work.
Well, somebody's got to pay him.
Yeah. Anyway, good morning to you. Welcome to Mornings on the Dove. Welcome back, buddy.
Thank you. It's good to be home.
Yeah, I know. It's hard out there, man. It's scary out there.
It is.
Well, the nation is still grieving and will be for quite some time, and a lot going on over the weekend is a fallout to what happened last week, and just so many things, and it's gone global. Yeah. So we'll try our best to cover it. I'm a little reluctant to make comments because I'm still struggling with it.
I know, yeah.
And I'm not even sure. It's amazing to me the diverse feelings about this. It's that is almost like salt in the wound.
Yeah, it's well put. You're right. Yes.
You look at this and you go, really?
Yeah.
Have we lost the value of human life?
Yes.
To the point where somehow this stuff is justified.
Yes, because now if you disagree with somebody's speech, for some reason, this is now, justifiable action.
Yeah.
It's a sad state.
It is. There's a lot to be commentary here, and we'll try our best to show you what the response is around the country. But this isn't going to go away soon, and it has caused some really very positive things and people standing up for their faith, and yet some very ugly things that people are literally celebrating it. And so the only thing it is it looks like America is divided. And, are we prepared for this and the fallout from this?
I don't think we are, and you're right. We're more divided than I think we've ever been right now, period.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's tough to watch. Okay. Anyway, we'll try our best throughout the day. Coming off of really a nice, cool evening last night, but it's going to warm up a little bit this week.
Yeah.
And then go back down. So we'll deal with that. What do we got going?
Well, first of all, it is National Tackle Kids Cancer Day. We talk about the epidemic level of cancer in our country, and it's not just in the adult population. It's obviously in kids too, and we all know kids who have been struck with cancer, and so on this day we support innovative research and patient care programs at the Children's Cancer Institute, the CCI, at Hackensack University Medical Center, and it's something that we should all continue to pray about, without a doubt. It's also National Neonatal Nurses Day. And we know how valuable they are. Our hats off to you. And a few things to eat today, Perry. It is National Cheese Toast Day.
Oh.
Not a grilled cheese sandwich, I guess. Is a grilled cheese sandwich cheese toast?
Basically.
I guess so, isn't it? Yeah, because you got the butter, and everything is better with butter on it.
Yeah.
And of course, anytime I hear grilled cheese, when I say grilled cheese sandwich, reminds me, we went to Mac's Diner when we first moved here.
Oh.
It was little Pete and I. Pete was a little boy. And we sat down and we were going to order something. He goes, I said, he wants a grilled cheese sandwich. And she goes, a grilled cheese sandwich, okay. He goes, no. I want a boy cheese sandwich. That's my Pete.
So you had it at that age, too.
Yeah, I'll take a boy cheese sandwich.
Okay.
All right, and it's also, speaking of cheese, National Double Cheeseburger Day.
Oh, my stars.
I think the only double cheeseburger I've ever had it's actually my favorite offering at In-N-Out. It's the double-double.
The double-double.
Can't beat a double-double, double patty, double cheese.
Really?
Oh, it's wonderful. So enjoy your cheeseburger. And then something maybe you might like, Perry. Here's National Linguine Day. From the Liguria region of Italy, linguine means little tongues in Italian. Made from durum semolina flour, linguine is one of the world's oldest kinds of pasta. Fettuccine and linguine both developed about 400 years ago.
Really?
That pasta goes back a long ways.
Well, I like linguine. It's I like the thinness of it,
Yep.
And with some scampi.
Yep. It says, while both fettuccine and linguine are thin, flat noodles, linguine is narrower and more elliptical in shape. Well, next time I'll just pull that out and go, yeah, it's pretty elliptical to me. Yes.
Okay.
All right. Well, let me ask you this. How smart is your dog?
Well, I think our dog now has a PhD in psychology.
Well, did you know your dog is as smart as a toddler?
Really?
Yeah. Studies show the average dog can understand up to 250 words and gestures, about the same level as a 2-year-old child. Some breeds, like Border Collies, are especially quick learners, making our furry friends both loyal companions and surprisingly clever. Now, this is probably true for everybody except our Champ. Champ is a black lab. He is the sweetest, nicest, dumbest dog I've ever had. He's a good boy. We never cease and pause in calling him good boys, but he isn't. I don't know what his vocabulary is like, but that's pretty interesting. A 2-year-old vocabulary. How about that?
Well, it's interesting. It's interesting also how they learn eventually.
Yeah. Does your dog know when she's in trouble?
Oh, boy.
Huh?
Oh, boy.
Oh, okay.
The ears go back.
Yeah.
This really sheepish look to it.
Uh-huh. You know, I always love going in the garage and finding something disrupted or chewed up or whatever and say, okay, who did this?
Yeah.
And then just watch them all cower and go lay down.
Yeah.
Now, the one that's guilty knows that, and the others are saying, you did this to us. You got us in trouble.
Yeah, they're all pointing at each other.
Right. Exactly right.
Yeah.
So,
No, our dog, and they're also psychological. They know you, too.
that's true.
They know your feelings. They know, But
And I just say that loosely about our champ. He's a good boy, and he's not that.
you can't. I just think every family should have a dog.
Yeah. Yeah. Kids got to grow up with dogs.
Kids have to grow up with dogs.
All right.
All right. Well, here's the old dog returned here.
A look at our weather from Grange Co-op. Today in northern Oregon and southern Washington, becoming sunny and near 74 in Vancouver, early patchy fog, then gradual clearing to sunny skies from Portland through Wilsonville and McMinnville with highs in the mid-70s. Moving down the Willamette Valley, patchy fog, then sunny with a high in the mid-70s for Salem, sunny skies with highs near 75 for Albany and Corvallis, patchy fog in Eugene, then sunny with a high near 76. In central Oregon, patchy fog, then sunny in Prineville with a high near 74. Sunny skies for Bend and Sun River with daytime highs near 71. Over in Boise, Idaho, areas of fog, then clearing to sunny in mid-70s. Sunny skies today along the Oregon coast with daytime high temperatures in the mid-70s around Coos Bay, near 71 in Port Orford and mid-60s for Brookings. Sunny in Crescent City, California with a high near 68. In southern Oregon, sunny and nice in the Rogue Valley with daytime highs in the mid-upper 80s for Grants Pass, Medford, and Ashland. Sunny skies for the Klamath Basin with highs in the upper 70s and a calm wind. Into northern California, sunny with a high near 83 in Wairika. Sunny skies for Redding with a high in the mid-90s, and Chico and Sacramento with highs near 92 and a light and variable wind and lows tonight in the mid-60s. In the Bay Area, sunny in upper 80s in Santa Rosa, partly sunny, then becoming sunny and near 89 in Napa, sunny in San Francisco with a high in the low 80s, and today in San Jose, sunny with a high near 90. It's a snapshot of your Monday weather from Grange Co-op.
And there's our beautiful sunrise, which isn't quite there yet.
My goodness.
Yeah,
That's
beautiful, clear skies.
Yeah.
You know, yesterday afternoon was just gorgeous. And so this is sunrise, no clouds, no nothing. That's looking northeast off the top of Roxanne. That's Mount McLaughlin, way out there. So we got a ways to go before we have a full sunrise as the days continue to get a little shorter and we're moving towards, remember, what do you do in the fall with your clock?
You fall back.
That's right.
Fall back.
You fall back and
That's
spring
right.
forward. So we're
Yeah,
gonna fall,
exactly right.
We're going to fall back here shortly.
So, make sure you're on time for church. Anyway,
Okay.
we have Ann Graham Lotz, and she has some encouragement for us for such a time as this.
George Bergen was a Navy man who worked for my mother and daddy. My sister Gigi would remember him, but he mowed the grass, he kept up the yard, and when it snowed, he would be at 2 o'clock in the morning, he'd be plowing the driveway so mother wouldn't get snowed in. He did lots of things for mother, but one of the things he did on the side, he was a deputy sheriff in Buncombe County, right here. And so every year he had to requalify to be a deputy sheriff. The year that he requalified, one of the things you had to do, and I can't remember exactly how many shots he had to fire in how many seconds, but it was like 3 shots within 10 seconds. And he had to shoot that fast, and he had to be so accurate that he would hit the bullseye every time. So this particular year, he went to requalify for his deputy's license or his deputy's badge, and he came back and he told my mother about it. And he said, Ms. Graham, he said, I went and he said, I was there and I had to go to the firing range and shoot the pistol and aim at the target, but he said, I'd just gotten new bifocals. And he said, I wasn't used to the way you look through them. And he said, I began to get nervous and I was uptight and I began to sweat and my bifocals steamed up and then they slid down my nose. And he said, I just closed my eyes and he said, I pulled the trigger 3 times. And then when I opened my eyes, they went and checked the target and it hit the bullseye every time. And mother said, George, how in the world did you do that? And he said, well, Ms. Graham, he said, when I lost sight of the target, I just remembered my position. And today, with all the craziness going on, the fog, the darkness that's coming on our land, the confusion, the fear, when your glasses fog up, remember your position. You're a child of the King. Jesus is seated on the throne.
Well, we need to hear that, don't we?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Absolutely beautiful. All right, 11 minutes past the hour. Let's take a look, try to get caught up with what's kind of going on around out there. The vigils that have been sparked by Charlie Kirk's assassination around the world has been amazing. We had a fairly significant one right here last night at the Armory. Over 1,000 people showed up. Wow. This was led by our good friend, Pastor Jim, and from Mountain Church. And look at that. That was a complete full building.
Yeah, it looks like it.
So it was a prayer and praise vigil, and I was so glad to see this. I know that there were some other little ones around town as well, but they filled the Armory up last night for that. Well, this spilled over into some other countries, starting with Korea. These are people standing up for their faith, sparked by Charlie Kirk. It also spilled over into Australia, the UK, Germany. This is around the world where the assassination of Charlie Kirk in New York has sparked New Zealand people to stand up for their faith. This is pretty remarkable. And in the UK, it's double-sided, so to speak. They're not only standing up for their faith, they're standing up for free speech in the UK. Free speech in the UK is under attack.
Oh, yeah.
And so this is pretty remarkable. I don't know where this is going to go, and I don't know what it's leading to. But if it's causing Christians to stand up, this is incredible. It's just amazing. Now, on the other side of the coin, as you know, Charlie Kirk's casket has been moved from Utah down to Phoenix, and there at his headquarters in Phoenix, there was a kind of a memorial outside there at its headquarters. Well, unfortunately, people attacked that over the weekend. A 19-year-old man was arrested Sunday for vandalizing the memorial set up outside the Turning Point USA headquarters in Phoenix. And you just kind of ask yourself, okay, what's going on here? Have we lost the value of human life altogether where somehow this stuff is justified? Some of the reports coming out are a little staggering.
Yeah, I know.
And I want to be careful here because it's just so touchy. In the meantime, the other one is that President Trump tells Rob Schmidt more information had come out, we all know it now, about the alleged assassin and what may have been part of the motive behind it. But apparently his roommate that he lived with was in transition. It was a trans person transitioning from male to female, and supposedly this young man, Robinson, was romantically involved with this person, which just makes it even more confusing, which does kind of explain some of the cryptic messages that were on the cartridges that had to do with it. All this is being put together, but now there seems to be a very emotional connection as to what might have been part of the motive behind all of this, which is just staggering. So in the meantime, security things across the country are sky high. As you know, we are going into a budget debate, whether or not the government's going to be shut down in a couple of weeks on October 1st as they continue to look at what they call continuing resolutions. We've been dealing with our budget for a year. We still haven't settled it. This is crazy. Well, the White House is seeking an additional $58 million for security for the White House and the Supreme Court justice, and resources for the U.S. Marshal's Office. So security is now a big, big thing. It has been all along since 9/11, but now with this kind of stuff going on, and the people who literally support assassinating people.
Oh, absolutely.
Which is, some studies have shown that our pastor quoted a study coming out of a New Jersey university over the weekend. And basically, the study was talking about the assassination culture. And the study basically, and I'm paraphrasing so I don't have all the exact numbers in front of me, but they asked the question, would you be in favor of assassinating Elon Musk? One side of the equation said it was a little over 54%.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
On the other side, it was 14%.
Oh, really?
And then they asked, would it be okay to assassinate the president? It jumped up on one side and it jumped up on the other. So we got a serious problem in our country. We've lost the value of human life. We've also lost the understanding of the First Amendment.
Yeah.
And so we're in a scary time, and yet there's some good coming out of this. People understand now that Christianity has been under attack in a very subtle way, but now it is out in front, and they're willing to stand up for their faith, and that's a good thing. So I don't know where this is going to go. It's scary, quite frankly. I don't know. I just don't know. I'm still trying to get my brain around it. I'm just surprised how many people aren't moved by it from a genuine sorrow.
Yeah.
I'm shocked by that.
I am shocked too. I'm not as shocked by the lack of sorrow and condolences on the part of those who don't know the Lord, but I am a little shocked that even inside the Christian community, those who are of the left persuasion are still speaking that language that when you speak hate, then these kinds of things are inevitable and certainly in some sense justified. I'm shocked that there is some of that in the Christian community, as there is.
Okay, so if we believe the Bible and we believe the Ten Commandments, thou shalt not kill, murder, kill, whatever, however you want to define that, then why are we celebrating it when it's done in cold blood?
Because if you can't win the debate, you eliminate the opponent. That is the mentality that's going on here. You can't win the debate, eliminate the opponent.
I don't know. I can't get my head around it.
I can't either. It's just beyond me. It is beyond me.
There's part of this that's. Well, let me gather my thoughts. I got to be careful here. All right. Well, those are some of the top stories. And hey, have you noticed something? We can celebrate this if you want to.
What, linguine?
Well, okay. No, gas prices went up in Oregon. Let's have a party. Really? Tell you about it when we come back.
I know you're working as I wait. Lift me up on wings like eagles to soar. Where big ideas grow.
Applegate River Golf and RV Resort, a pristine 9-hole course alongside the Applegate River. Their clubhouse offers a golf simulator experience. The RV Resort is adjacent to the golf course with convenient pull-through parking. Applegate River Golf and RV Resort. Information at applegaterv.com.
I was intrigued by the international news reporting, and then there were also so many stories of hope and encouragement.
When you meet the needs of others, he meets your needs.
One day I came across a video through YouTube of CBN. Terry said, "The Lord's healing you."
I want to see that program every day. It lifts me up. It gives me hope.
Monday on the 700 Club, right here on the Dove TV.
During the time that I reached out to the Salvation Army, I was like at my last hope. And Salvation Army really provided that hope and stability that I needed. And that's why I'm grateful, is because without that, my kids would have grown up too fast.
You should donate to the Salvation Army because every dollar that you give goes directly to changing lives here in our community.
From top home sellers in the Valley with John L. Scott. to making RV consignment effortless.
American RV, where Team Toner gets your RV sold fast.
Okay, well, I just want you to know that if you've just been going to the pumps lately and you're just having a party while you're there, there's a reason for it. Gas prices across Oregon went up 16 cents over about a 10-day period as the pipeline, the gasoline supply flowing into Portland area was shut down for 10 days.
What?
Apparently they had some kind of a problem, and that, of course, became a great excuse to bump the prices, right?
Of course, yeah. Of course.
So when I drove by, this was a couple of days ago. Well, look at that, $4.99. I actually saw places with $5 on it.
Supreme was $5.19 on that one.
Yeah. So this is not good.
Oh my goodness! So what's the prognosis? How are they going to
apparently
fix this?
it will be it probably. I think if I read the story correctly, it's supposed to be back online. It could already be back.
So this was a price increase before the governor was able to put a tax increase on our glass, or is
that's still kind of hanging out there.
Okay, how's that going?
It's only it's very confusing.
Oh.
You know what's interesting?
What?
You cannot find a conclusion to our special session.
What's going on with it? They're still there?
They're in and out. I think they go home, but they're still collecting the money because they're waiting for, I don't know. It's why do we citizens tolerate this?
I don't know. What can we do about it?
I think we. Oh, gosh. I guess we have cheese toast.
We have cheese and linguine. Oh, don't make me laugh. Oh, goodness.
So we'll just leave it at that. All right, let's take a look at the satellite image for you out there this morning. This is what's happening. Pretty nice. We have a system kind of swirling around. It'll bypass us, but the temperatures are going to warm up for a couple of days. We could even see some low 90s.
Yeah, tomorrow.
And then it backs back down.
Yeah.
But the days are shorter, so
it
cools off pretty quick.
Very seasonable. Mm-hmm. And, we're looking for that westerly flow. We're looking for some moisture and stuff, so we'll keep an eye on it. But you're right, a little bit warmer tomorrow and then starting to taper off. Well, Senator Josh Hawley spoke with Fox's Laura Ingraham and responded to this clip of Charlie Kirk and spoke about Kirk's legacy of faith.
9 out of 13 of the original states required you to be a Bible-believing Christian to serve in government at the time of the founding. Actually, 13 out of 13 required a declaration of faith. 9 out of 13 required you to be a Protestant, except Maryland, which was Catholic, which still required a declaration of faith. 55 out of 56 of the original signers of the Declaration were Bible-believing, church-attending Christians. The last paragraph of the Declaration reads as a prayer. It says, "We appeal to the supreme judge of the universe." Who's the judge of the universe? Jesus Christ, as it says in Revelation, that Jesus will judge the earth on his throne. So in the Declaration, they were praying to Christ our Lord as a prayer very specifically.
Hugely important, Laura. I think it's going to be one of his greatest legacies. I was just thinking today, I think my favorite memory with Charlie, and I have a lot of them, and I've known him now for almost 10 years. And I think my favorite memory with him is when he invited me out to Dream City Church in Phoenix, Arizona. He said, "Will you come out to this church and will you speak with them and sit and talk with me? And, let's sing some hymns together. Let's worship Jesus together. Will you talk to them about your faith?" And I was like, absolutely, I would love to. And to me, that just encapsulated Charlie. He wanted everybody to know what he believed in, what anchored his life. And as you just said, Laura, he wasn't afraid. He lived a consequential life because he wasn't afraid to talk about the things that matter most. And I hope that that's what we take away from him and his life and his legacy. It's just going to reverberate, Laura. It's just going to reverberate.
He makes a great point there. He wasn't afraid to talk about his faith and talk about the things that were important to him. You know what else he wasn't afraid of? He wasn't afraid to let others do the same, who were in opposition to him in their viewpoint. And he was always a gentleman in those situations. And whenever a crowd would get worked up against the person that would be questioning him, he'd say, "Calm down, let him talk, let him talk." He always gave that opportunity. So it's just, a sad state when we see how the left is reacting to it.
Well, it's just... it's a loss. It's just an amazing loss, and it's a stunning moment. I can't figure out how to talk about it, because I think part of it is this. With this kind of action going on, it's hard to believe that a young man used apologetics to address today's culture.
Yeah.
Christian apologetics to address today's culture. And like you said, he did it with no anger.
Right.
He just did it, okay? And he defended free speech.
Yeah.
You can talk. I may not believe what you want, but I want to hear what you have to say.
Absolutely.
So it's just hard for us to think that this young man was gunned down for doing this, okay? And I'm thinking, okay, we just watched last week in America Christian martyrdom.
Yeah.
Live on television.
Yeah. Yes.
And there's probably two big reasons why this could be a motive. You know, one, they're trying to tie it to the transgender thing. I don't know. It looks like there's some parts of that could be.
Yeah.
But I think there's another part of it, is that he was a Christian.
Right.
And he loved Donald Trump.
Absolutely.
And the combination of those two.
Yeah.
People who are antithetically against all of that are for his assassination.
Right.
I don't know. So if we're not careful, what this does is intimidate us to shut up and say nothing to the point where we explode, and then we explode. The Democrats will blame you for being out of control.
Oh, absolutely.
So you got to understand that you got to be wise as a serpent here. So part of it is, let's intimidate you so you don't say anything anymore. And I feel that pressure. I can't tell you how much I feel that pressure. I didn't sleep all weekend because of that pressure. Okay? Shut up and do nothing.
Right.
Maybe I should stop interviewing people. Maybe I should stop talking right now.
Yeah.
Okay? So part of it is to intimidate you to shut up.
Right.
Okay? The other part of it is, okay, so that you just boil inside. And then when you do explode, see, you're the problem. You're the intolerant. You're causing it. It's your rhetoric. It's this. You got to understand this is part of the snake philosophy.
Yeah.
And don't give in to it. So I'm glad to see Christians standing up around the world for Christ. I don't know where it's going to lead.
Right.
I have no idea where it's going to lead. But at the end of the day, if it's causing people to stand up for their faith, I think right now, always I think that's a good thing. But right now it seems to be international, and it looks good.
Amen. Yep. Absolutely.
Okay. I should probably just go home now. I'm done. We'll be right back.
I'm with you.
Yeah, okay.
Everything comes alive. Everything comes alive.
Your property demands equipment with more reliability, durability, and versatility built in. Kubota equipment is ready to get the job done right.
Come fall in love with Northridge Senior Living, where contemporary sunlit interiors meet old world elegance. Walk through our lovely hallways and enjoy the fun staff-led activities. Forge lasting friendships with other residents and our exceptional caregivers. Dine in style. Gather near the fireplace under breathtaking chandeliers. Our reasonably priced apartments are spacious with private balconies. Northridge is Christian owned and operated, pet friendly, and only 2 blocks from Asante Rogue Regional Medical Center. On-site 24/7 in-home care is available. We also offer senior adult daycare where your loved one can spend the day with us and the evenings with you. Northridge Senior Living, your home.
Clean water is essential to your good health. Ultra Pure Purified Water has been delivering purified, healthy drinking water to the Rogue Valley since 1995. Locally owned and family run, Ultra Pure Purified Water uses a multi-stage process ensuring your delivery of water is 99.8% pure, so your family stays hydrated and healthy. Online at ultrapurewaterinc.com or call 541-734-0828. 541-734-0828.
Welcome home to the Dove, a trusted friend, enriching your faith with inspiring content that will change your life forever.
Welcome home to the Dove TV, radio, and the Dove.us. All right, good morning to you. Happy Monday as we all try to still kind of get our feet underneath us. Our legs are wobbly.
Yeah.
Probably will be for a little while. Yeah. A lot going on. Back to school, by the way. Be careful in and around the school zones. It's not 21.
No, it's 20.
It's still 20.
Yeah.
I came through one this morning and I looked at, they didn't put a 1 up there.
I'm going to a volleyball game this afternoon at a school. Mm-hmm. Got to go see those grandbabies, at least one in particular. And I know we're going in there 20 miles per hour. 20.
Now, wait a minute.
Yeah.
A grandbaby playing
volleyball. Yeah.
So how old's this grandbaby?
She is 13.
Baby in your eyes.
Always baby. Always baby. Yes.
Okay. Grandpa, will you sit over here?
Hey, Grandpa, tone it down.
Yeah, Grandpa, would you sit over here? Okay, let's check in with CBN News Watch.
This is CBN News Watch.
We're going to begin this Monday, September 15th in Israel, where some leaders are calling for the government to declare sovereignty over the biblical lands of Judea and Samaria. At the United Nations General Assembly voted overwhelmingly to support a Palestinian state. And today, Secretary of State Marco Rubio met today with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu after last week's Israeli strike on Qatar. CBN News Middle East Bureau Chief Chris Mitchell brings us the story. He's reporting from Jerusalem.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio began his trip with a visit to the Western Wall. Even after last week's strike on Hamas leaders in Qatar, a U.S. ally, Netanyahu said the U.S.-Israel relationship is strong. Netanyahu and Rubio met to discuss a number of issues, including the war in Gaza, freedom for the hostages, and the strike against Hamas leaders in Doha.
Your presence here in Israel today is a clear message that America stands with Israel. You stand with us in the face of terror, in the face of the incredible, I would almost say, Middle Ages lies that are directed against us.
As far as the president's been clear on the ongoing issues in Gaza, and that is that every single hostage, both living and deceased, needs to be home immediately. Hamas can no longer continue to exist as an armed element that threatens the peace and security, not just of Israel, but of the world.
In New York City Friday, the UN General Assembly voted 142 to 10 with 12 abstentions to pass a resolution declaring a Palestinian state. Israel's UN Ambassador Danny Danon condemned the resolution.
This one-sided declaration will not be remembered as a step toward peace, only as another hollow gesture that weakens this assembly's credibility. This is not diplomacy. It is theater. It doesn't shorten the war, it prolongs it. It does not weaken Hamas, it rewards them. It does not advance negotiations, it undermines them.
The Trump administration called the vote a gift for Hamas, and after the UN vote, a number of Israeli ministers called for annexation. Israeli Justice Minister Yariv Levin called the UN decision a reward for terrorism and added the land of Israel belongs to the people of Israel. Even the UN decision will not change that. It is time to apply sovereignty to Judea, Samaria, and the Jordan Valley. This is the appropriate Zionist response.
Going to continue our coverage now with Chris Mitchell joining us from Jerusalem. So, Chris, what is the practical impact of the UN resolution on a Palestinian state? Is this just diplomatic language, or will it actually lead to something?
Well, you can argue, Ephraim, that what Ambassador Danny Danon said, that it was more theater than actually reality, is really true. This has been done before with many other resolutions about a Palestinian state. I think in terms that it really does have a lot of essence of just diplomatic language. In terms of actually making progress to a Palestinian state, it seems very unlikely. And because many people here in Israel do not want a Palestinian state, especially after October 7th. Hamas is a non-starter. not even considered that they would be part of any sort of Palestinian state, and also the Palestinian Authority. If you look at what they say in their official media, they call for many times the elimination of the state of Israel as well. They call for Jews to be killed or murdered based in Allah's name. So whether or not this resolution by the General Assembly, which really is non-binding, it really doesn't have any, teeth to it, really does seem a lot more like theater than actually something that will change things here on the ground in Israel.
If Israel does annex parts of Judea and Samaria, will that prevent the creation of a Palestinian state?
I think actually there's been moves by Israel that would actually prevent a Palestinian state. One was it was a non-binding resolution, but it gives a sense of how the current Knesset is feeling. They voted that they would never be a Palestinian state. Also, we reported last week about E1, which is an area outside of Jerusalem, and they have decided, Israel that is, to put about 70,000 residents there in an area that would prevent a contiguous Palestinian state that actually geographically breaks up between Ramallah and Bethlehem. Now, this land had been vacant for a long time, but it's just this push for a Palestinian state that's really pushing Israel to take steps to prevent a Palestinian state. So I don't think there's so this is things that are happening on the ground here. This push for a Palestinian state is increasing this effort to declare sovereignty of Judea, Samaria, and the Jordan Valley.
Well, here we go. You know, I want to come back to Anne Graham Lotz.
Oh, okay.
Her devotion this morning is spot on. Look what's happening in the Middle East.
Yeah.
Look what's happening in America. Look what's happening with Russia and Ukraine, and Russia firing drones all over Poland and other NATO airspace. The world is upside down. And it's easy to sit here and commentate on it, and we should. That's part of our job. But behind all of this is Scripture that's backing it. And the question is, who do you serve? It goes back to the three big questions. Do you know what you believe? Do you know why you believe it? And can you gracefully defend what you believe? You know, we're in this moment of definition for the believer. And if you don't know what you believe, you better spend some time and put your nose in the book and figure it out. You know, because you end up being a product of your environment. So if you're going to one church with one philosophy, okay, I'm not against that.
Yeah.
But you also have a brain. Read the book for yourself and open your heart and mind to the Holy Spirit speaking to you, and get grounded in the Word, or you're not going to make it.
Yeah, great advice.
You know.
Yep, you're right.
I'm in such deep doo-doo right now. I just need to go.
No, you're not.
Let's go talk to a guy that's always flying across the top in his
Wait,
speech.
talk about deep doo-doo. Yeah, that guy, right?
That guy.
A look at our weather from Grange Co-op. Today in northern Oregon and southern Washington, becoming sunny and near 74 in Vancouver, early patchy fog, then gradual clearing to sunny skies from Portland through Wilsonville and McMinnville with highs in the mid-70s. Moving down the Willamette Valley, patchy fog, then sunny with a high in the mid-70s for Salem, sunny skies with highs near 75 for Albany and Corvallis, patchy fog in Eugene, then sunny with a high near 76. In central Oregon, patchy fog, then sunny in Prineville with a high near 74. Sunny skies for Bend and Sun River with daytime highs near 71. Over in Boise, Idaho, areas of fog, then clearing to sunny in mid-70s. Sunny skies today along the Oregon coast with daytime high temperatures in the mid-70s around Coos Bay, near 71 in Port Orford and mid-60s for Brookings. Sunny in Crescent City, California with a high near 68. In southern Oregon, sunny and nice in the Rogue Valley with daytime highs in the mid-upper 80s for Grants Pass, Medford, and Ashland. Sunny skies for the Klamath Basin with highs in the upper 70s and a calm wind. Into northern California, sunny with a high near 83 in Wairika. Sunny skies for Redding with a high in the mid-90s, and Chico and Sacramento with highs near 92 and a light and variable wind and lows tonight in the mid-60s. In the Bay Area, sunny and upper 80s in Santa Rosa. Partly sunny, then becoming sunny near 89 in Napa. Sunny in San Francisco with a high in the low 80s. And today in San Jose, sunny with a high near 90. It's a snapshot of your Monday weather from Grange Co-op.
And there's a picture of our South Valley this morning. Not quite a full sunrise yet, but things are clearing up and going to be nice.
Hey, I got a quick question for you. We've had a little bit of rainfall. How has it affected wildfire season for us?
Well, it's helping a lot. The ones that seemingly are still very problematic, when you look at the map, it just almost puts your brain on tilt. There's the two fires on either side of Paradise Lodge.
Oh, yeah.
They literally were able to save the lodge, the meadow, and some group of cabins that are off to the west side where they're kind of like in the wilderness area there. Mm-hmm. They were actually stopped the fire around that. The south fire burned right down to the river.
Really?
And then the fires burned around those two areas that I just spoke about and down to the river. And it doesn't seem to be much containment, but the cooler temperatures and the rain is helping. The fires south of us, still burning, but the vegetation is wet and they're slowly getting a handle on it.
All right. Well, no more rain coming our way, so I hope they do get a handle on it. Have you ever been to the top of the Empire State Building?
Yes.
You have? All right. Well, it's an interesting building. You know, it was built during the Depression in the 30s. It went up very quickly. There was a lot of available labor, you know.
I was looking for that kid, Sleepless from Seattle.
Yes.
I was looking for him up there.
Very good.
Isn't that where he ended up?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
And it was also built in the day and age when they were still flying Zeppelins as passenger ships.
Yeah.
And one of the features of the Empire State Building was to be a docking station for Zeppelins to load and unload passengers, and a docking trial run was attempted on this day in history.
On September 15th, 1931, the Empire State Building's crown became the stage for one of New York's most daring experiments. A small dirigible managed to briefly dock at the building's mooring mast 1,250 feet above Manhattan. The idea was bold: transform the skyscraper into a midtown airship port where passengers could step off a Zeppelin right into the city. But the wind swirling around the tower proved far too dangerous. The dirigible was forced away almost immediately, and the dream of skyships docking in Manhattan vanished as quickly as it appeared. Today, that mooring mast remains only a landmark feature, a reminder of an ambitious idea that never quite took flight.
And, you know, there's a lot of swirling winds up there. Imagine coming off of a Zeppelin, you walk down the ramp, you're like 100 stories.
I don't know if I'd do that.
No way. And in fact, remember the Pan Am building? It was right behind Grand Central Station.
Okay.
It is now MetLife or something, so there's another name on it. Well, they didn't dock Zeppelins on the Empire State Building, but they did land helicopters on top of the Pan Am building until one blew off the building.
Okay.
The winds got so, and now they've banned all of that. You can't do any of that. But one day, they tried to moor a Zeppelin to the Empire State Building.
Somewhere in a box in my office somewhere.
Yeah.
I have no idea where it is. You know how stuff gets just thrown around.
Yeah.
So we went to the top.
Okay.
The Empire State Building, and you walk outside and you're with the cage area and all that.
Right.
It was cool. You know.
Oh, it is.
I mean, it's iconic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I get back in the elevator and I push the button. And the button fell in my hand.
No way. Oh, no.
And I think, I can't remember what floor number's on it.
Did you get it?
I kept it.
You kept. Good for you.
Yeah. And I go, how often is that? You push it, and it was like one of those, it was a little square thing, you know?
Yeah.
And I pushed it, and it popped out.
Popped out.
Yeah.
How did that make you feel on your ride down?
Well, I don't know. So somewhere I have that. I don't even know where it is. Okay.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what to do. Do I give it to the guy when I get off? This is a souvenir that nobody else has.
Right. Right. Yeah. Oh no.
I was daredevil. I took it. Okay. Living Waters. This is a great program we carry. Ray Comfort. We know Ray. He's a great guy. He's from New Zealand, and he speaks of Charlie Kirk's courageousness and asks for your prayers for his family.
These are fearful times, and anyone who stands up for righteousness is going to become a target. And Charlie Kirk was certainly a target. Our ministry had just been in contact with him to get him on our podcast, and he had put us in touch with his manager. In preparation for this, I was watching Charlie in England and on his own podcast talking about the problems of race. And I was thinking how courageous he was to stand up for righteousness because he's going to make himself many enemies. At the same time, I was thinking the only answer to America's racial problems and every other problem is the gospel. It transforms the human heart. It causes us to love righteousness. So if you're a Christian, I want you to pray that God gives you courage to stand up, not just for righteousness, but to proclaim Christ crucified. That was what the Apostle Paul said he did. I am determined not to know anything among you except Christ and Him crucified. And so let your light shine. Don't be afraid. It's a dark world. God's with you. And when God's with you, nothing can be against you. Let's continue to do what Charlie did and remember to keep his family in your prayers.
To that point, Erica Kirk, which is Charlie's wife, she gave a national talk late last week at the end, a couple of days later. We're going to air that entirety coming up this morning. If you haven't seen it, it's pretty moving, and yet it may be prophetic, okay? And then I'm going to air the interview that I had with Charlie Kirk on June 17th, 2024. Where I had a chance to sit down and talk to him. So we're going to play both of those coming up a little bit later this morning. All right, we'll take a quick break. We'll be right back.
The threat of wildfire poses a growing risk to Oregonians. You can prepare now by taking 3 important steps. Create a home inventory, make copies of important financial records, and contact your insurance company to make sure you have the right amounts and types of home insurance coverage. Be wildfire ready by being insurance ready. Visit dfr.oregon.gov/prepare now to learn how.
At Kelly's Automotive Service,
being good stewards of what God has entrusted to us
is at the core of our business.
We believe what we do matters.
Every interaction, every transaction is another opportunity
to bring Christ's values into the marketplace.
If you're a technician who wants to be part of something bigger,
or just looking for a new shop to bring your vehicle,
we would love to meet you.
We're Kelly's Automotive Service,
where we service your vehicle,
but take care of you.
Mornings on the Dove is unlike anything you'll experience. Not only will we fulfill our goal to bring you encouragement, but we'll also fulfill our goal in bringing you information that you need.
I think the biggest thing that we are hoping to accomplish in the morning show and bring to the viewers is hope. As we look at the events that are swirling around us, seemingly at times are way beyond our control, we look to the hope that we have in Jesus Christ and what He has given for us.
We select the top stories. We try to make you informed so you're a good citizen to start your day. But most of all, to give you the encouragement so that you can have a good day and a happy day.
We seem to have a lot of fun on camera because we are having a lot of fun on camera. We have a great rapport. We go back and forth. Perry's like one of the funniest guys I've ever seen.
Wake up to hope. Watch Mornings on the Dove. Weekdays only on the Dove TV.
10 minutes before the hour. Of course, we're still waiting to hear the final plans for a memorial for Charlie Kirk. But in the meantime, his pastor, David Englehart, down in Phoenix, was on Newsmax National Report and talked about an interview where Charlie Kirk was asked how he wanted to be remembered if he was to die. And here's what he said.
How do you want to be remembered? I mean, if I die, everything just goes away. How would you, if you could be associated with one thing, how would you want to be remembered?
I want to be remembered for courage for my faith. That would be the most important thing. The most important thing is my faith.
But Charlie was a man of incredible faith. I met him in the summer of 2020 when he was
really frustrated with the churches across the United States that were not standing up in the face of lockdowns and all of the backlash that was happening that summer. And he was a voice of courage for churches across the country. And he started to surround himself with other men of faith that were really courageous and bold, like Rob McCoy and others that were saying, we're not going to back down. And I think there was a synergy between their faith and Charlie's courage. And then when those two things met, there was a faith explosion in his heart. And, we have a horrible tragedy. John 10:10 says, the thief comes to steal and kill and destroy. But Jesus said, I come that you would have life and life more abundantly. And I think what we're going to see with Charlie's stance, with his faith, with how courageous he was, that we're going to see an explosion of life. We're going to have 1 million Charlie Kirks rise up and love their country and love their families and love their churches and love their nation. And that will change the face of the United States, to have people that walk like Charlie, that are so committed deeply to their faith and committed deeply to their nation and their families.
Charlie, his organization, Turning Point USA, had 18,000 requests for chapters since his assassination.
Oh, my goodness.
Now, all that has to be qualified.
Yeah.
But there are schools and organizations wanting to become chapter members of Turning Point. One of his last messages, in fact, I think he said it, the rally before the one he was assassinated at, was he said to young men, he said, go to church. Mm-hmm. Find a woman, love her, and have more kids than you can afford.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that. Yeah. Been there, done that.
There's a take.
All right. Wonderful. Hey, do you remember your first job?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah? What was it?
Well, job where I was actually driving to it.
Actually paid to do it.
Oh, well, that was doing irrigation in tomato fields.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think that I get like 50 cents an hour or something like that. But my first job was delivering flowers.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
My first job was picking up garbage.
Really?
Yeah, Jay and Evelyn had our drive-in restaurant in our little hometown of Northwood, North Dakota. My mom's listening right now. She goes, and she's probably not remembering that. Yeah, I picked up the garbage at Jay and Evelyn's drive-in. People would sit in there and they'd throw their stuff on the ground, and the next morning before they opened up, I would come and I would pick up all the stuff in the parking lot where people had their food. Well, it's not quite like this, but a daughter got her very first job at In-N-Out, and her parents wanted to surprise her. Take a look at this. Starting your very first job is a big milestone, and one young woman's parents made sure she felt celebrated. On her first day behind the counter at In-N-Out Burger, Olive was greeted by two familiar faces in the customer line, Mom and Dad. They proudly admitted, "We had to." Proud of our little girl starting her first job and happy to have another excuse to go to In-N-Out Burger. Go Olive. Working the cash register, Olive looked a little embarrassed but couldn't hide her smile at the surprise visit. It's a wholesome moment of family pride, and it's guaranteed to make you smile. I love it.
What if they ordered a double-double?
Oh, yeah, give me a double-double to go. She handled it pretty good, though, I would say. Some kids might be a little bit embarrassed. But I'll tell you what, you go into In-N-Out, those folks are working.
Yeah.
They're really hopping. That place is usually busy and
well organized. So is Chick-fil-A. You go to those two restaurants.
Yeah.
This is management on steroids.
Yeah, absolutely.
And don't. This is what you're trained to do. Do it. If you have a hard time with that, there's the door.
Well, that's a very good point. Isn't that what a perfect story on Double Cheeseburger Day? We can get a double-double.
Double-double.
Yeah, so anyway.
Well, that's good stuff. No, I delivered flowers for a florist in Sacramento, next to the big church. It was literally, the big church was here, the florist was here.
Okay.
And Shea Florist, and I have come to the conclusion, and of course I told the guy later in the day, but the best florists are the delivery guys.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because you go out and you have all these deliveries, and they want them delivered fast and come back.
Yeah.
Well, you drive crazy. and they spill over in the back.
Oh, no. No. Oh.
They'd put them in these boxes, and they kind of put some stuff with these big sprays and everything else like that, and they'd fall over. So you'd have to crawl back in there, and before you got it out of the truck, you had to kind of put it all back together.
Oh, no. So you got to be a little bit of an arranger.
They're some of the best florists of the drivers.
I get it now.
And the only thing I remember was from the florist that taught me that. He said, if you spill an arrangement, remember the triangle. Everything done with florists is in a triangle.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So I said, okay, I remember that.
And it was their truck or their van?
Oh, yeah. So I had to crawl in the back, fix it, and then open the door and deliver it. Okay.
But didn't that van smell great all the time?
Gosh, all the time.
All right.
And then I think the most strange ones was when I had to put the sprays on caskets. That got a little tough.
Oh, I didn't think of that part of it.
Yeah, you got to go in there and set them up and spray them.
Yes.
Jeremiah 29:11. For I know the plans that I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future. That promise is still there. We'll be right back.
They're fun-loving twins. They love God, hunting, and pranking each other. Join the Hamptons for outdoor adventure every weekend on Twin Factor. Brought to you by Black Flag Armory in Medford and Grants Pass. Truly excellent service.
The Lennox iComfort S30 thermostat can sense changes in your environment. It even knows when you come and go. So now your home's most important system is also the smartest.
Metal Masters can give you the smartest home comfort system available. It knows when you're away and adjusts when allergens and humidity get uncomfortable. Trust Metal Masters to provide perfect air for your family.
Lennox. Air is life. Make it perfect.
Co-op, where big ideas grow.
Chris Silva understands your home and your commercial buildings are two of the largest investments most people make in a lifetime. One is for your family, the other is to support your family financially. That is why Chris Silva Painting goes the extra mile to protect both homes and commercial buildings with proper painting preparation and high-quality primers and paints. Serving Southern Oregon since 2006, this family-owned and operated business has painted over 1,000 homes. Chris Silva Painting offers an industry-leading 5-year warranty that covers materials and labor on all painting projects. Work for both residential and commercial buildings, both interior and exterior painting. Chris and his crew are courteous, they are efficient, organized, timely, and clean. Chris Silva Painting also offers military discounts. At Chris Silva Painting, our mission statement is to bring Christ's heart and principles to our customers and our job sites. We do that with honesty, integrity, and hard work. We don't cut corners, we paint them. CCB number 176097. Chris Silva Painting, 541-890-3960.
Buying or selling a home can be stressful. It's one of the biggest decisions you'll make in your lifetime. That's why it's important to work with someone you trust, someone who has the right experience and knowledge of the market.
Hi, we're Patrick and Paulina Leiser with Leiser Real Estate Group.
And whether you're looking to buy or sell a home, our mission is to take the stress out of the transaction and make it as seamless and rewarding as possible.
Contact us today. We look forward to working with you.
You're watching theDove TV, encouraging and informative for Salem, Kaiser, and the Willamette Valley. Seen on KSLM 27 and these Dove TV affiliates.
Well, good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to Monday on Mornings on the Dove, and we found him. He's like a bad habit. He comes back.
I remembered where to go or where to come back to.
Welcome back, buddy.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
A couple of days off there and a little R&R, kind of, sort of.
Yeah, kind of, sort of. Yeah, but it just took on a different flavor and changed the whole experience in the whole weekend. So.
Well, we're still in the shadow of unbelievable grief in this nation, and it's going to be a while before we find reality again. I think our hearts are on tilt, our brains are on tilt. We're trying to figure out where do we go from here, what's happened, and the only thing I can say to people, please pray for calmness, settle down, and God's up to something. It's kind of hard to see through all of this, but look, this is not good, and a lot of things over the weekend we'll show you has signs of really strong good things. So we'll try to highlight that for you, but we're still numb.
Yeah, we are numb.
Still numb. Yes. And it's got a long ways to go before this one settles down.
Yep.
All right, good morning to you. Anything special today?
Well, first of all, it is National Tackle Kids Cancer Day, and amen to that. We've talked many times about cancer being at epidemic levels in our country, and unfortunately, kids are affected as much as adults, and we all know families and kids who have been affected by this. And this day we support innovative research and patient care programs at the Children's Cancer Institute, the CCI, at Hackensack University Medical Center, but cancer research going on across the country, and we continue to pray for that. Also, National Neonatal Nurses Day, recognizing those who care for the most fragile patients as they take their first breaths. And our hats off to you. Also, a few things to eat today, Perry. Get your cheesy toast ready because it is National Cheese Toast Day. Simple but delicious. Cheese and toast go well together. A little butter helps everything meld together nicely as well, which makes me think of grilled cheese. Grilled cheese is a cheesy toast, right? Yeah. They say that cheese toast was created by Del Johnson in 1958. He opened his first Sizzler restaurant, and it was an instant success. And although the recipe changed a bit over the years, the concept of cheese toast hasn't. And if they're attributing this to Del Johnson in 1958, I would say that there are some other inventors earlier that are not recognized, because somebody had to put cheese on toast a long time ago, don't you think?
Well, you would think so.
Yeah.
If you take some sourdough bread,
okay,
and you put a little cheese on there.
Yeah.
And I've seen you do this, and then you put avocados on that.
Yes.
And then you put Tabasco sauce on that.
Why not? Yeah, yeah. Hey, you know what else is good on?
He calls that breakfast.
Grilled cheese sandwich. Thinly slice some dill pickles and put it in there.
Oh, dill pickles in a. What's that again?
In a
cheese sandwich.
Yeah.
Dill pickles in a cheese sandwich.
Yes.
I'll try it.
Grilled cheese sandwich with sliced dill pickle. Oh, it's so good.
So do you like it when you bite into it, there's a string of cheese when you're pulling it away?
Yes, it's like a cheese pizza.
Okay, there you go.
Absolutely. Which is, and if you think about it, cheese pizza almost is
a cheese sandwich.
Toast. It's cheese toast, isn't it?
Yeah.
Almost. All right. It's also National Double Cheeseburger. Speaking of cheese, Double Cheeseburger Day, and of course that just makes me think of In-N-Out. I think it's the only place I've ever had a double cheeseburger, and that's all I have is the double-double. Give me that double-double, fries, and then on the side for my dessert, I'll have a chocolate shake.
Wait,
it's our deal.
You got 2 patties, 2 layers of cheese,
right?
Fries,
and then a chocolate shake. And save the chocolate shake to the end, because then you can kind of treat it as your dessert. Wow, it's outstanding. All right.
Gosh, that is like calories and...
Yeah, but if that's not good enough for you, have some linguine. Okay. It is National Linguine Day.
I like that.
From the Liguria region of Italy. Linguine means little tongues in Italian. Made from durum semolina flour, linguine is one of the world's oldest kinds of pasta, along with fettuccine. Linguine and fettuccine are both about 400 years old. Now they're similar to each other. Both of them are thin, flat noodles. Linguine is narrower and more elliptical in shape. I have to say that it was lost on me. I haven't seen the elliptical shape of a linguini.
What does that mean?
I'm glad you said that.
What's elliptical?
I was going to say, I don't even know what it means, really. So, yeah, it's elliptical. The only thing that I know what an elliptical is that thing that I get on and go like this, to try and get that broken leg back into shape. I'm on an elliptical. So, anyway, enjoy. Whatever you're going to have today, you got a good choice.
Well, I like linguine.
Yeah.
Usually with
clam sauce.
Huh?
Linguine and clam sauce.
I was just going to say that if you can have linguine with clams, those little clams.
Oh yes,
the sauce.
Yes.
Oh gosh, now not everybody likes that, but boy, it's just got the
garlic butter. Oh, it's wonderful. Okay. Now let me ask you this: how smart is your dog?
Well, pretty smart.
Yeah. Well, you might be surprised,
but she's also a drama queen.
Well, I love it. Well, truth is very important.
Yeah.
Did you know your dog might be as smart as a toddler? Well, studies show the average dog can understand up to 250 words and gestures, about the same level as a 2-year-old child. Now, some breeds, like Border Collies, are especially quick learners, and some are quicker than others. I know that Labs can be smart. Mine, unfortunately, isn't. But making our furry friends both loyal companions and surprisingly clever. They are very clever companions, but even those that, because we kind of, I joke, I say I have a dumb dog, but he's a really good boy, and he's probably smarter than I give him credit for. But there are some, especially those Border Collies. So tell me some of the intelligence traits of your girl.
Well, they know when to eat.
They know when to eat. They know which lizards to chase.
Oh, yeah. None of the lizards around our house has any tails.
Oh, that's funny.
So last night she's growling like crazy, and we had 3 of the biggest bucks.
Oh,
right
again.
outside our bedroom window.
My goodness.
I mean, they were literally looking in the window at her.
Oh, God.
We have one of those light sensors, where something walks by.
Yeah.
Well, it didn't bother the 3 deer.
Oh, no.
They walked right past it, and they looked right in the window, and she just went crazy.
Yep, you need to put I've seen this in a bunch of places. Put sensors on your sprinklers. When they trip the sprinklers, that tends to move them.
Does it?
Yeah. So anyway, but enjoy your dogs. They're part of the family.
Okay.
And they may be smarter than we think, or in some cases maybe not, but enjoy anyway.
All right. Sit, Jerry, sit. Here's the weather.
A look at our weather from Grange Co-op. Today in northern Oregon and southern Washington, becoming sunny and near 74 in Vancouver, early patchy fog, then gradual clearing to sunny skies from Portland through Wilsonville and McMinnville with highs in the mid-70s. Moving down the Willamette Valley, patchy fog, then sunny with a high in the mid-70s for Salem. Sunny skies with highs near 75 for Albany and Corvallis. Patchy fog in Eugene, then sunny with a high near 76. In central Oregon, patchy fog, then sunny in Prineville with a high near 74. Sunny skies for Bend and Sun River with daytime highs near 71. Over in Boise, Idaho, areas of fog, then clearing to sunny in mid-70s. Sunny skies today along the Oregon coast with daytime high temperatures in the mid-70s around Coos Bay, near 71 in Port Orford, and mid-60s for Brookings. Sunny in Crescent City, California with a high near 68. In southern Oregon, sunny and nice in the Rogue Valley with daytime highs in the mid-upper 80s for Grants Pass, Medford, and Ashland. Sunny skies for the Klamath Basin with highs in the upper 70s and a calm wind. Into northern California, sunny with a high near 83 in Wairika. Sunny skies for Redding with a high in the mid-90s, and Chico and Sacramento with highs near 92 and a light and variable wind and lows tonight in the mid-60s. In the Bay Area, sunny in upper 80s in Santa Rosa. Partly sunny, then becoming sunny near 89 in Napa. Sunny in San Francisco with a high in the low 80s. And today in San Jose, sunny with a high near 90. It's a snapshot of your Monday weather from Grange Co-op.
And a little bit of sun now coming up over the east side and casting a little sunlight at the top of the west side hills, but not quite in the valley yet. Beautiful day, beautiful day.
Wonderful. Well, and especially for a time like this. Ann Graham Lotz is here, and she says, don't let the enemy rob you of your praise.
And the Bible tells us there are principalities and powers in the unseen world.
And there are demons. There is the devil. There are evil forces at work, and some of them are visible and some of them are invisible. But it doesn't matter who you bump into or what you bump into or what black hole you go to or what you find under your bed. None is more powerful than Jesus. Ephesians 1 says that God raised him up from the dead. He seated him in authority over everything, put all things under his feet. He is the Lord of lords. He's King of kings. He's in charge of everything. He's the Lord God Almighty, omnipotent. So praise him for his deity. He's God. Praise him for his humanity. He's man. Praise him for his eternity. He's omniscient and omnipresent and omnipotent. Isn't he wonderful? Amen. And when we're going through trials, sometimes when we have hard things, sometimes the first thing to disappear is our praise. The very thing that would lift our spirits out of this vortex of problems and suffering and, pressures and stress and hurt and pain, and the very thing that would lift us out, we tend to lose if we would just lift up our heads, lift up our hearts, and praise the Lord. Like I told you yesterday, put his names to the alphabet, put the blessing to the alphabet. It's amazing as you begin to praise him, how sometimes those things just fall into perspective. The problems don't seem so great. The pressure is not so intense when we praise Jesus for who he is. And as our world gets worse and worse, and I believe, as Rachel Ruth pointed out, we're living in the end times, living right before Jesus comes, and it is a privilege, but it's also, a lot of responsibility, and it's going to get more and more and more difficult. And he inhabits the praises of his people. Praise him for who he is. It'll just help ease the pressure. So don't don't let the enemy rob you of your praise.
Boy, big amen to that.
Oh, yeah.
That's good stuff all the way around. All right, good morning to you. 12 and a half past the hour. Taking a look at some of the headlines as we are still processing a nation that is hurting. And a lot of vigils yesterday for Charlie Kirk, literally all over the place. We had quite a big one here yesterday afternoon, evening at the Armory. And the only thing I can say is Pastor Jim there for Mountain led this, and the place was packed. Wow. And they sang and they worshiped and they prayed. And the only thing I can tell you is if this is going to be a spark of this, it's wonderful. Okay, and it's just really good stuff all the way around. Yeah. So I want to say to Pastor Jim and having the fortitude and the courage to do this, thank you. Yeah. So that was right in our own backyard. There was a couple of other ones, but anyway, things are happening. Well, across the globe, we got a little bit of a montage of the various towns. South Korea. This was standing up for freedom of religion and pictures of Charlie Kirk. England had thousands, hundreds of thousands of people. Germany, all of this, some of this has to do with not only freedom of religion, but also has to do with free speech. New York, of all places, New York, New Zealand, breakout in New Zealand. This is absolutely amazing. Australia, look at that, pictures of Charlie Kirk.
Wow.
Okay, wow. Spain, and one of the most interesting one, the Kennedy Center in Washington, D.C. was packed. They turned people away.
Absolutely.
So this is kind of mind-boggling where this is going. Now, I'm going to play Charlie Kirk's wife's message to the nation coming up a little bit. And in there she said, basically, and I'm paraphrasing to the person who did this, you have no idea what you've unleashed.
Right.
And I think this is part of it, okay? Yeah. Is there a revival beginning to stand up? Is there a boldness for your faith to stand up? I remember, and I still do it all the time, talking to Dr. George Barna. He said, look, there's something really good happening among young men. They're coming to church. They want to get married. They want to have a family. They want to stand up for values. Something is happening with this. Yeah. On the flip side, there's plenty of negative, and I'm stunned at people celebrating an assassination.
It's amazing.
But I'm not going to give them credit because something here else is going on that is very good.
Good. All right. I'm glad to hear that.
Okay. Over at the in Arizona, unfortunately, one of the things that we have a hard time dealing with, but there was a memorial set up outside the Turning Point USA headquarters, and a young man vandalized that over the weekend, and they got him on camera, and they got him. But this just shows you that there is something about this that has really triggered people. Mm-hmm. And the other one is that President Trump was telling Rob Schmidt that they now, of course, we know this is a little bit old, but the point being is that they now beginning to string a motive behind the shooter. Apparently, there was some connections to the transgender world because he was involved. His roommate was apparently transitioning, and he was romantically involved with that person. Where does that lead? I have no idea.
Yeah.
Now, the other thing that comes of all of this is security heightening, and as you know, we're heading into budget arguments. This is going to be very interesting. Are we going to shut the government down October 1st? Are we going to get a continuing resolution? Folks, something's wrong. Mm-hmm. They've been kicking the can down the road on a budget for over a year.
Yeah.
We cannot operate this way. In the middle of this, the White House is asking for $58 million in additional security for the White House, the Supreme Court, and resources for the U.S. Marshal.
What do you think of that request?
Well, I get it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I get it. It's a sad day, but I get it.
Well, I think the Supreme Court jurists are especially vulnerable. We saw protests at their houses a couple years ago, and it just kind of highlighted how vulnerable they could be. So, yeah, I think they definitely need to shore up some security issues.
Well, let me just say there's an ideology out there that is counter to common sense, counter to life, counter to anything that's biblical. And part of the game plan is to intimidate you to say nothing and do nothing. Okay? And to the point where you just boil inside, then when you explode, they blame you for it.
Right.
But the only thing I can say is we cannot be intimidated to shut up.
Right.
And as long as we're continuing to speak up, especially with these rallies around the world speaking up for their faith, it's going to cause some more problems.
Yeah.
And security is going to be a big deal. And so I'm surprised it's only $58 million.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't know what they're looking at, but $58 million for security. So anyway, those are some of the top stories on this Monday morning. We'll take a quick cheese bread, double cheeseburger, double, triple, cardiological.
You had to bring that into it now, huh? Oh, thanks a lot, man.
We'll be right back after our heart attack.
Where big ideas grow.
Come fall in love with Northridge Senior Living, where contemporary sunlit interiors meet old world elegance. Walk through our lovely hallways and enjoy the fun staff-led activities. Forge lasting friendships with other residents and our exceptional caregivers. Dine in style. Gather near the fireplace under breathtaking chandeliers. Our reasonably priced apartments are spacious with private balconies. Northridge is Christian-owned and operated, pet-friendly, and only 2 blocks from Asante Rogue Regional Medical Center. On-site 24/7 in-home care is available. We also offer senior adult daycare where your loved one can spend the day with us and the evenings with you. Northridge Senior Living, your home.
Hey, it's your old car here. Remember me? Remember us? You barely even turn me on anymore. It's clear you don't need me, but that's perfectly fine, my friend, because you can choose to give this old car new purpose and donate. There are incredible nonprofits out there that accept cars just like me. So call or donate online. Donating a vehicle is easy, the pickup is free, and your gift is tax deductible. Woohoo!
All right, welcome back on this Monday morning, 20 minutes past the hour. I don't know if you realize it, but the gas in Oregon went up 16 cents an average gallon over the last week or so. We are now the highest priced gas in the country, and primarily due to a major pipeline disruption delivering gasoline to Oregon. Spend about 10 days of being out of service, and experts watch closely. The fuel prices stay at the highest into next week, potentially, maybe a little bit longer. All of this was from the Olympic Pipeline, which is owned in part by the oil and gas giant BP, carries fuel from refineries in Washington State to Portland. Well, apparently it had problems on September 2nd. They said last Friday it started to flow through the pipeline again, but the residual effect will show high prices for at least another week, maybe longer.
Did they say what the nature of the disruption was?
No.
No?
Nope.
So did somebody just turn the valve off a little bit and say, hey, it's time for a little higher prices here?
See, I don't. Isn't it interesting? We automatically suspect stuff like that.
Yes.
I don't know, but we should celebrate now. Have a little party here. We're the highest in the nation.
And has the governor got the tax increase on gas yet?
You see, I have no idea what the conclusion is to the special session. I don't know if they're still receiving their $178 a day per diem.
Yeah.
So I should look into that story. I haven't got other things on my mind, if you can imagine that.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, 16 cents a gallon. You know, when I drove by and I saw the number 5 up on the board.
Right. You thought you were in California.
I thought I was in California.
Yeah.
Something's really wrong. But anyway, that's what's going on. Let's take a look at Wall Street for a Monday morning with all of these emotions going on in our country. Thank you, Preston, with Smart Lawn. He helps us with this. And in the meantime, the Dow's up 45.5 points. The Nasdaq jumped up 145, almost 146 points this morning, and the S&P jumped up about 27. So a little green ink at the ringing of the bell for this Monday morning. That took gold still doing very well, almost $3,700 an ounce. That's really up there.
Wow.
Silver is down, but still up, $42.70 an ounce, and crude oil, well, there you go, $67 a barrel. I don't. The whole gas thing. I don't even think New Math covers this. I don't know if there should be a department in a university.
New Math.
Studying gas prices.
Yes.
Can you get a degree in this?
Oh, man. Okay, well, Fox News' Laura Ingraham spoke with Senator Josh Hawley, who responded to this clip of Illinois Governor Pritzker speaking on Charlie Kirk's death.
I want to express my sympathy to Charlie Kirk's family and to Charlie Kirk, who obviously become a target for somebody. I don't know whether it's political violence because I don't know who did it. There are people who are fomenting it in this country. I think the president's rhetoric often foments it. We've seen the January 6th rioters who clearly, have tripped a new era of political violence.
Yeah, I just can't express how sickening I find listening to every syllable of that. I mean, it is reprehensible, just reprehensible. And you said it earlier, Laura, the reason that the left hated Charlie so much is that he went out and confronted them with facts and with good cheer. You know what? I mean, he loved life. He loved life because he knew who he was, because he knew who his God was, because he was a happy man, happily married with beautiful children. And they hated him for that, and they still hate him for that. And we've got to get over that hate in America. It is poisoning this country. The left is poisoning the country with this hate. And I hope people will wake up today and see this. They'll wake up and look at what happened to Charlie Kirk, and they'll say, wait a minute, there's something seriously wrong here. It is time to turn the page on this attempt to divide the country, which is what the left is doing here with this poisonous hate. And it's time to start getting back to what the things that we believe in together.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think he's nailed it there. But this poison that's out there, this venom, that's out there. And I think at the end of the day, when you begin to process this, you realize that there's a couple of connections here. One is Charlie used Christian apologetics to deal with the issues of the culture. Now that was seen as politics, okay, but he used his faith as the core substance of his argument, as it dealt with all of the cultural issues. Okay, I mean, he certainly wasn't weak on that. So they hated him for that because it's counter to what the left's agenda is all about, and because he openly expressed his affection for President Trump. That probably was the capstone of the hatred.
Right.
If you remember, he would go to his rallies, and he did it there in Utah. He threw out 2 hats. Hat number 1 was Turning Point hats. Hat number 2 had a big 47 on it.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Yes,
okay?
yes.
And so the only thing I can say is that we just cannot be intimidated here. We cannot be shut down and intimidated to say nothing.
Yeah.
You know?
And how repulsive is that January 6th fomented a new era of political violence in our country? This is the result of January 6th? Are you kidding me?
Well, like Senator Hawley said, that's just reprehensible. I think what you're doing, let's pass the buck here. But
let's blame the victims.
Yeah.
Yes.
So 3 questions. I'm going to harbor on these 3 questions.
Okay.
Do you know what you believe? Do you know what you believe? Do you know why you believe that? And can you gracefully, and I underscore the word gracefully because that's what Charlie did it.
Absolutely.
Can you gracefully defend your faith?
Yeah.
Do you know what you believe in? Or are you angry about your faith? You can overcome evil with good. And let me ask you one other question.
Okay.
We'll do this and go to break because I can hide in the break.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Rhetorical question. When's the last time you prayed for your enemies? We'll be right back.
During the time that I reached out to the Salvation Army, I was like at my last hope. And Salvation Army really provided that hope and stability that I needed. And that's why I'm grateful, is because without that, my kids would have grown up too fast.
You should donate to the Salvation Army because every dollar that you give goes directly to changing lives here in our community.
Mornings on the Dove is in some ways, a typical morning show in that we look at the news and events of the day, but we're very untypical in that we look at it through a lens of biblical truth.
The Dove helps you to bring a balance to life in order to not only bring the spiritual application to what's happening to the everyday life, but to bring you the stories in a way that you're not overwhelmed by it, you're just informed by it.
Although we sometimes have to deliver bad news and look at troubling situations, we look through it all to the hope of Jesus Christ.
We have a good time. We try to make sure that it's enjoyable. And most of all, I think Jerry and I just really enjoy working together and making fun of each other.
We have a great rapport. We go back and forth. We both have a lively outlook on the things that are going on in the world.
Wake up to fun and encouragement. Mornings on the Dove. Weekdays only on the Dove TV.
Clean water is essential to your good health. Ultra Pure Purified Water has been delivering purified, healthy drinking water to the Rogue Valley since 1995. Locally owned and family run, Ultra Pure Purified Water uses a multi-stage process ensuring your delivery of water is 99.8% pure, so your family stays hydrated and healthy. Online at ultrapurewaterinc.com or call 541-734-0828. 541-734-0828.
All right, good morning. 29 minutes now past the hour on a Monday morning. Back at it, back to school, back to the fall, coming off of a beautiful weekend. A little bit of rain dampening of the ground, all that stuff. But we're going to see some warm temperatures, huh?
Yeah, we are. And again, too, we're hoping for some residual effects of the rain on the fire season and the active fires going on. But then you think about, well, what's going to happen now? It's going to start warming up again. At least tomorrow. We're going to get into the low 90s and then start tapering again.
Yeah.
So hopefully the firefighters will get a handle on all this.
The days are shorter, so that's good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there are other big news stories. Let's check in with CBN Newswatch.
This is CBN Newswatch.
We're going to begin this Monday, September 15th in Israel, where some leaders are calling for the government to declare sovereignty over the biblical lands of Judea and Samaria. At the United Nations General Assembly voted overwhelmingly to support a Palestinian state. And today, Secretary of State Marco Rubio met today with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu after last week's Israeli strike on Qatar. CBN News Middle East Bureau Chief Chris Mitchell brings us the story. He's reporting from Jerusalem.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio began his trip with a visit to the Western Wall. Even after last week's strike on Hamas leaders in Qatar, a U.S. ally, Netanyahu said the U.S.-Israel relationship is strong. Netanyahu and Rubio met to discuss a number of issues, including the war in Gaza, freedom for the hostages, and the strike against Hamas leaders in Doha.
Your presence here in Israel today is a clear message that America stands with Israel. You stand with us in the face of terror, in the face of the incredible, I would almost say, Middle Ages lies that are directed against us.
As far as the president's been clear on the ongoing issues in Gaza, and that is that every single hostage, both living and deceased, needs to be home immediately. Hamas can no longer continue to exist as an armed element that threatens the peace and security, not just of Israel, but of the world.
In New York City Friday, the UN General Assembly voted 142 to 10 with 12 abstentions to pass a resolution declaring a Palestinian state. Israel's UN Ambassador Danny Danon condemned the resolution.
This one-sided declaration will not be remembered as a step toward peace, only as another hollow gesture that weakens this assembly's credibility. This is not diplomacy. It is theater. It doesn't shorten the war, it prolongs it. It does not weaken Hamas, it rewards them. It does not advance negotiations, it undermines them.
The Trump administration called the vote a gift for Hamas, and after the UN vote, a number of Israeli ministers called for annexation. Israeli Justice Minister Yariv Levin called the UN decision a reward for terrorism and added the land of Israel belongs to the people of Israel. Even the UN decision will not change that. It is time to apply sovereignty to Judea, Samaria, and the Jordan Valley. This is the appropriate Zionist response.
Going to continue our coverage now with Chris Mitchell joining us from Jerusalem. So, Chris, what is the practical impact of the UN resolution on a Palestinian state? Is this just diplomatic language, or will it actually lead to something?
Well, you can argue, Ephraim, that what Ambassador Danny Danon said, that it was more theater than actually reality, is really true. This has been done before with many other resolutions about a Palestinian state. I think in terms that it really does have a lot of essence of just diplomatic language. In terms of actually making progress to a Palestinian state, it seems very unlikely. And because many people here in Israel do not want a Palestinian state, especially after October 7th. Hamas is a non-starter, not even considered that they would be part of any sort of Palestinian state. And also the Palestinian Authority. If you look at what they say in their official media, they call for many times the elimination of the state of Israel as well. They call for Jews to be killed or murdered based in Allah's name. So whether or not this resolution by the General Assembly, which really is non-binding, it really doesn't have any, teeth to it, really does seem a lot more like theater than actually something that will change things here on the ground in Israel.
If Israel does annex parts of Judea and Samaria, will that prevent the creation of a Palestinian state?
I think actually there's been moves by Israel that would actually prevent a Palestinian state. One was it was a non-binding resolution, but it gives a sense of how the current Knesset is feeling. They voted that they would never be a Palestinian state. Also, we reported last week about E1, which is an area outside of Jerusalem, and they have decided, Israel that is, to put about 70,000 residents there in an area that would prevent a contiguous Palestinian state that actually geographically breaks up between Ramallah and Bethlehem. Now, this land had been vacant for a long time, but it's just this push for a Palestinian state that's really pushing Israel to take steps to prevent a Palestinian state. So I don't think there's so this is things that are happening on the ground here. This push for a Palestinian state is increasing this effort to declare sovereignty of Judea, Samaria, and the Jordan Valley.
Well, I think what you hear, that constant push for a Palestinian state globally is going to constantly be resisted. I just don't see it happening.
Right, yeah.
You got to remember that Gaza was a two-state trial.
It already was, yeah.
And it blew up.
Yeah.
You know, so the West Bank and all that, I think Israel's pretty determined. Even the citizens are now. The answer is no, and there's no negotiation. So we'll see what happens. All right. Let's check out the weather from a guy that has a double.
A look at our weather from Grange Co-op. Today in northern Oregon and southern Washington, becoming sunny and near 74 in Vancouver, early patchy fog, then gradual clearing to sunny skies from Portland through Wilsonville and McMinnville with highs in the mid-70s. Moving down the Willamette Valley, patchy fog, then sunny with a high in the mid-70s for Salem. Sunny skies with highs near 75 for Albany and Corvallis. Patchy fog in Eugene, then sunny with a high near 76. In central Oregon, patchy fog, then sunny in Prineville with a high near 74. Sunny skies for Bend and Sun River with daytime highs near 71. Over in Boise, Idaho, areas of fog, then clearing to sunny in mid-70s. Sunny skies today along the Oregon coast with daytime high temperatures in the mid-70s around Coos Bay, near 71 in Port Orford and mid-60s for Brookings. Sunny in Crescent City, California with a high near 68. In southern Oregon, sunny and nice in the Rogue Valley with daytime highs in the mid-upper 80s for Grants Pass, Medford, and Ashland. Sunny skies for the Klamath Basin with highs in the upper 70s and a calm wind. Into northern California, sunny with a high near 83 in Wairika. Sunny skies for Redding with a high in the mid-90s, and Chico and Sacramento with highs near 92 and a light and variable wind and lows tonight in the mid-60s. In the Bay Area, sunny in upper 80s in Santa Rosa, partly sunny, then becoming sunny and near 89 in Napa, sunny in San Francisco with a high in the low 80s, and today in San Jose, sunny with a high near 90. It's a snapshot of your Monday weather from Grange Co-op.
Beautiful, beautiful. Stuck my nose out the door here just a few moments ago. Just a beautiful morning. I actually see some little layers of lower clouds out there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we got sunshine, shadow, and blue sky, and some low-hanging fog. So kind of a mixed bag out there this morning.
Right.
Pretty nice.
All right. It's a nice view. And speaking of nice views, we've both enjoyed the view from the top of the Empire State Building.
Yeah.
It's pretty stunning, isn't it?
I was looking for that little kid from Sleepless.
Yeah. Well, you know, and the Empire State Building is an interesting building. It was built during the Great Depression in the 30s. It went up very quickly. There was a lot of available labor to help build that thing, and it was interesting because it had more uses intended than we are aware of, because it there was supposed to be a docking station for Zeppelins to load and unload passengers at the top of the Empire State Building, and a docking trial run was attempted on this day in history. On September 15th, 1931, the Empire State Building's crown became the stage for one of New York's most daring experiments. A small dirigible managed to briefly dock at the building's mooring mast 1,250 feet above Manhattan. The idea was bold: transform the skyscraper into a midtown airship port where passengers could step off a Zeppelin right into the city. But the wind swirling around the tower proved far too dangerous. The dirigible was forced away almost immediately, and the dream of skyships docking in Manhattan vanished as quickly as it appeared.
Today, that mooring mast remains only a landmark feature, a reminder of an ambitious idea that never quite took flight.
Let me ask you something. Have you ever stepped out of a boat that's on a wavy lake onto a dock? Mm-hmm. Would you do that 120 stories up?
I don't think so. I'm glad that failed. That was destined for failure.
That was destined for failure, but they attempted it. They gave it a shot.
All right. Well, thank God that didn't work.
Yeah.
All right. Good morning to you, Ray Comfort. He has the Living Water broadcast, and we carry it here on the Dove TV network. Honored to do so. Met Ray on many occasions. Interviewed quite a few times. He's an interesting guy. He was a street preacher at Christ Church in New Zealand. He literally stood on park benches and preached.
Wow.
He since came to America. He's one of the great apologists of our day. And here's what he talks about Charlie Kirk's courageousness.
These are fearful times, and anyone who stands up for righteousness is going to become a target. And Charlie Kirk was certainly a target. Our ministry had just been in contact with him to get him on our podcast, and he had put us in touch with his manager. In preparation for this, I was watching Charlie in England and on his own podcast talking about the problems of race. And I was thinking how courageous he was to stand up for righteousness because he's going to make himself many enemies. At the same time, I was thinking the only answer to America's racial problems and every other problem is the gospel. It transforms the human heart. It causes us to love righteousness. So if you're a Christian, I want you to pray that God gives you courage to stand up, not just for righteousness, but to proclaim Christ crucified. That was what the Apostle Paul said he did. I am determined not to know anything among you except Christ and Him crucified. And so let your light shine. Don't be afraid. It's a dark world. God's with you. And when God's with you, nothing can be against you. Let's continue to do what Charlie did and remember to keep his family in your prayers.
Yeah, he's spot on. Mm-hmm. Charlie Kirk, from the way I see it, is that he used Christian apologetics to approach the very sensitive cultural issues, and it was always from a biblical base. And we'll miss him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, we'll take a quick break. By the way, I just want to remind you, Charlie Kirk's wife, Erica, addressed the nation a couple of days after the tragedy. Her speech is unbelievable, very emotional. We're going to air it its entirety coming up in about a half hour, so or less than that. In about 15 minutes, we're going to interview that. And then we're also going to play the interview that I had with Charlie Kirk back in June of 2024. So quite a guy. All that coming up in a few moments.
But your love, the only thing that matters is your love. That's all I have to give. Your love is enough to light up the darkness. It's your love.
We've all enjoyed a real hot summer, and now fire danger is biting at its heels. Flammable blackberries and underbrush will grow like gangbusters and sprout fire danger in no time. A wise property owner knows the best time to take care of fire danger is to extinguish it before it gets started. GMV Forestry, LLC can help you protect your property with adequate fire brush clearing to fireproof a zone around your precious property. With over 35 years experience, GMV Forestry LLC has the knowledge, experience, and all the equipment you need to get the job done right, offering a wide variety of services like mulching, field mowing, snow removal, driveway clearing, ditch cleaning, gravel delivery and spreading, driveway sweeping, logging, and more. GMV Forestry LLC does it all, and they do it right. GMV Forestry LLC, the team you can trust. 541-660-6445. 541-660-6445.
You feel most alive where you feel most at home. And this is living. Bobcat, the company that changed the way the world works, is coming home with a quality compact tractor built to match your quality of life. This isn't work you have to do. It's work you get to do. So get it done in a tractor that's all you. See your dealer or visit bobcat.com.
How
can Christian parents train their kids to know and follow God's design for sexuality in a culture that increasingly rejects it?
Join us as we uncover the damaging misinformation being fed to your children on sexuality and gender identity, and learn effective strategies for grounding them in biblical truth with confidence and grace.
Join me for the John Ankerberg Show weekdays at 4 o'clock right here on the Dove TV. It'll be encouraging and informative.
Okay, welcome back. Quarter before the hour on Back at It Monday morning. The nation is still, got this, sad.
There's a cloud over us, yes.
Yeah, it's heavy.
Yes.
Newsmax, they have a program there called National Report, and Charlie Kirk's pastor was there. His name is David Engelhardt, and he responds to a clip from an interview with Charlie, as was asked how he would want to be remembered if he died. I mean, is this somewhat providential? I don't know. But anyway, here's a little bit of that interview.
How do you want to be remembered? If I die, everything just goes away. How would you, if you could be associated with one thing, how would you want to be remembered?
I want to be remembered for courage for my faith. That would be the most important thing. Most important thing is my faith.
Charlie was a man of incredible faith. I met him in the summer of 2020 when he was really frustrated with the churches across the United States that were not standing up in the face of lockdowns and all of the backlash that was happening that summer. And he was a voice of courage for churches across the country. And he started to surround himself with other men of faith that were really courageous and bold, like Rob McCoy and others that were saying, we're not going to back down. And I think there was a synergy between their faith and Charlie's courage. And then when those two things met, there was a faith explosion in his heart. And, we have a horrible tragedy. John 10:10 says, the thief comes to steal and kill and destroy. But Jesus said, I come that you would have life and life more abundantly. And I think what we're going to see with Charlie's stance, with his faith, with how courageous he was, that we're going to see an explosion of life. We're going to have 1 million Charlie Kirks rise up and love their country and love their families and love their churches and love their nation. And that will change the face of the United States, to have people that walk like Charlie, that are so committed deeply to their faith and committed deeply to their nation and their families.
Yeah. Well, as we saw earlier when we ran the montage of the vigils that were broken out literally around the world, and most of these are motivated by Christians standing up for their faith. I think this is a remarkable thing. Maybe there's an understanding here that even Anne Graham Lotz spoke about it this morning in some of the clips we had with her. But look at this. This is England. Hundreds of thousands of people. Now, England's got another problem. They're also standing up for free speech.
Yeah.
And part of free speech is preaching the gospel.
Right.
New York had a pro-Charlie Kirk rally. New Zealand, we know the folks in New Zealand. Australia, we know all those people there, which is Vision. Spain, South Korea, this is stunning. Now, these were people standing up for their faith. Now, there was a lot of pictures of Germany. There was a lot of pictures of Charlie Kirk in the crowd.
Yeah.
But what they're basically saying is, we've had it being persecuted for our belief.
Yeah.
We've had it being shut down, that we can't talk about our faith, we can't evangelize. Yeah. We've had it that we can't stand privately, silently outside of an abortion clinic and pray inside our spirits.
Right.
We've had it with this nonsense.
Yes.
And so they're standing up. Even at the Kennedy Center in Washington, D.C., people were turned away because the pace was packed out.
I have a question for you. We refer to the cloud that's over the country right now, and actually around the globe, because of this situation. And we're trying to figure out how to navigate through this. Now, of course, we know we're divided, and we're going to continue to see that, especially on social media. And I just read a post that absolutely made my stomach spin, because now the left is actually trying to blame the MAGA movement for this shooting of Charlie Kirk. The divide is wide, and we're going to see more of these things. How do you wade through this? How do you keep a any kind of peace in your soul through this process, where we're seeing people who obviously don't have a clue and are just still camping on the hate that killed Charlie Kirk.
I think if I was to, and I will be dead honest with you, I'm still processing that. I don't know if I can answer that question, but I'm seeing something here. The Scripture is telling us to be as wise as serpent, but harmless as doves. And what does it mean to be wise as a snake?
Yeah, what does that mean?
Okay, so you got to understand the other side. And what I'm sensing here is this. They're trying everything to intimidate us into shutting up.
Yeah.
Okay?
Right.
And then while you're shutting up and you're afraid to say anything, you're boiling inside. And then when you finally blow, they're going to turn around and see it's your rhetoric.
Right.
So if you understand that strategy, then you can rise above it. Why did they kill a guy that was anything but violent and anything but harsh rhetoric?
Right. Anything but a gentleman.
He used the gospel.
Right.
He used Scripture as a Christian apologist to address today's culture. Okay, and he also happened to be very fond of the president, and I'm sure that's part of it too. The combination of those two, they can't stand.
Yeah.
But folks, we're in a very, very, very biblical time. You know, let me ask you this: if we were to change the format of the show, what would we change it to?
I don't know.
How do you do news without talking about this stuff?
True. That's a good point. Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah. Right.
Everything in news is this stuff. How do you not deal with it?
Yeah.
And why should we be shut up and intimidated not to comment on it?
Right.
And that's exactly what people want you to do. And I'm thinking, well, wait a minute, where else can you go for anything else that's in the news besides this?
Yeah.
Unless you go to a cartoon channel.
Yeah. True.
You know, everything in our culture, news is. You can't even do a story and get people upset, okay? And yet most newscasts are become nothing more than commentary. So it's an interesting time. But mixed into that, you mix the gospel in that, and you really get people's hackles up because you know what they're saying? When you mix the gospel, there is a moral standard, and they don't want those guardrails in their life. They want to reject that. And even in the Christian faith, I think we need to be really careful here, people. Christians, we have problems within the church because we're divided too.
Right.
There's people think that murder, some of it sometimes is justifiable.
Right. Yeah.
You know, and I'm going, okay, well, what about the Big Ten where it says thou shalt not kill?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And I'm not talking about self-defense here.
Right.
I'm just called cold-blooded, get rid of somebody because they're not like you or you don't like what they're saying.
Yeah. Well, you know, we know that there were people that didn't like what Jesus was saying. And what happened? Same thing. They killed him.
So one of the comments, I don't know, I'm just saying this, I'm not trying to scratch things here, but is the Charlie Kirk assassination the Martin Luther King of our day?
That's a great question. I dare say not, and I'll tell you why. Because nobody would be as vile as to post the things that I'm seeing posted on social media about Martin Luther King Jr. And maybe some people might have felt it, but I think there was much more universal coming together behind the tragedy of losing Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. than there is behind Charlie Kirk, because the left is still isolated and in many instances are celebrating this. I don't think we ever saw anybody celebrate the loss of Martin Luther King Jr.
No, look, you make a good point there, but they were both martyrs for their faith and for their conviction.
True. You're right. Yeah.
And they both were nonviolent.
Yes.
So, you know, history will play this out, but it's such a tragic loss. It's such a stunning moment. I mean, there's 100 million people that don't know what 9/11 was.
Well, you know, that's a great point.
So for those of us who have lived through Kennedy's assassination, Robert Kennedy's assassination, Martin Luther King's assassination, 2 attempts on President Trump's life. Okay.
Yeah. We saw the congressional delegation, Scalise get shot. We've seen political violence at a level
We even saw President Ford get shot.
Right, yeah.
President Reagan get shot. And now you got Charlie Kirk.
Yeah.
So we've seen a lot of this in our lifetime.
Yes, we have.
There's a lot going on. All right. Well, anyway, stick around. We're going to play Charlie's wife's address to the nation. It's pretty moving, and I've decided to go ahead and do this because I think you need to hear this.
Yep.
You need to hear this, and then I'll air a interview that I had with Charlie about a year ago.
Oh, good. All right. Well, on a much lighter note, do you remember your first job?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What did you do?
Well, before I drove, I did irrigation in a tomato field.
You know, real work.
Yeah. Shovel.
Yeah, I picked up
a shovel and a piece of canvas and a stick.
I picked up garbage at a local drive-in restaurant in the morning before they opened. I picked up last night's crowd's garbage that they would toss out their windows. What a practice.
Yeah.
You know, people don't do that anymore, do they? What? And can I tell you something?
Yeah.
Nobody came and visited me when I was doing that either. But this is a different case here because Mom and Dad were very proud of their daughter and her first job at In-N-Out, so they decided to surprise her. Take a look at this.
Starting your very first job is a big milestone, and one young woman's parents made sure she felt celebrated. On her first day behind the counter at In-N-Out Burger, Olive was greeted by two familiar faces in the customer line, Mom and Dad. They proudly admitted, "We had to." Proud of our little girl starting her first job and happy to have another excuse to go to In-N-Out Burger, go Olive. Working the cash register, Olive looked a little embarrassed but couldn't hide her smile at the surprise visit. It's a wholesome moment of family pride, and it's guaranteed to make you smile.
I'll take the double fries and a chocolate shake. Thank you very much.
Your cardiologist is going, go for it, Jerry. Go for it, Jerry.
Come see me.
Yeah, come see me. My 401k is dripping a little bit. I need to. That's good stuff.
All right.
I stick around. We got some very interesting. And Bill Gallagher's going to be in the house dealing with how do we deal with pain and grief. So we got a lot for you coming up. In the meantime, Jeremiah 29:11, a great scripture. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future. Take that with you today. Put that on your refrigerator. We'll be right back.
Applegate River Golf and RV Resort, a pristine 9-hole course alongside the Applegate River. Their clubhouse offers a golf simulator experience. The RV Resort is adjacent to the golf course with convenient pull-through parking. Applegate River Golf and RV Resort. Information at applegaterv.com.
Combining your home and auto insurance could save you time and money. And who doesn't like that? Want surprisingly great rates on auto, home, and life? Now's the time to call State Farm agent Rory Wold in Medford.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Big ideas grow.
Stewardship begins with the knowledge that nothing belongs to us, but everything belongs to the Lord. This helps us to run a business not in the fear of lack, but in the assurance of His care and provision. Such a perspective eliminates the drive to sell and replaces it with a heart that says serve. This begins with serving our clients and coworkers with integrity and genuine care. That's why McKelly's is automotive service with a heart for God and treating others as we ourselves would want to be treated. Our promise is to never sell our clients anything we don't believe they need. Another is to do all we can to meet other needs, such as shuttle service and loaner cars, or taking the time to really listen, even at times praying with our customers. Sometimes this means sacrifice, going above and beyond, but that's why I work for Kelly's Automotive Service. honoring God while serving people with honesty and integrity.
In a time when our culture faces unprecedented challenges, Alex McFarland addresses the hard-hitting questions about faith, morality, and culture.
I want to talk about the role of a Christian even in a hostile culture.
Helping you to be equipped to defend the gospel through Christian apologetics.
We are to present, explain, defend the gospel.
Catch Alex McFarland Tuesdays and weekends on theDove TV, encouraging and informative. Experienced Middle East Bureau Chief Chris Mitchell brings you Jerusalem Dateline, weeknights at 9:30 on theDove TV, encouraging and informative.
Welcome to Focus Today. I'm your host, Perry Atkinson, and today I thought we would spend the day dealing with, obviously, the grief that we're all sensing and feeling and the heartache. And part of this, I think, has to be real. And we've decided to go ahead and air Charlie Kirk's wife, Erica's address to the nation late last week. And I think you'll find this to be pretty amazing. But the reason we're sharing this, I think we need to help carry this load of grief. We need to be praying for them. But also, I think there's some things in here that we need to clearly understand. So anyway, here is Erica Kirk, Charlie's wife, just about 2 days after she lost her husband to the assassin. And here's her address to the nation.
Jesus. Feel this room. Good evening. My name is Erica Kirk. Charlie Kirk is my husband. I first want to thank the local, state, and federal law enforcement who worked tirelessly to capture my husband's assassin so that he can be brought to justice. I want to thank the first responders who struggled heroically to save Charles's life, and the police who acted bravely to make sure that there were no other victims on that terrible afternoon. I want to thank the officers who have protected our Turning Point USA family these past 2 days. And I want to thank the Turning Point USA board, the COO, Justin Strife, and my husband's chief of staff, the amazing Mikey McCoy, for all their work in these terrible days to be the stability for our family and for the wider Turning Point USA family as well. My heart is with every one of my husband's employees who lost a friend and a mentor. I want to thank the staffers of his amazing Charlie Kirk show who helped him broadcast from this studio, this chair. Every day he loved it. He loved what he did. I want to thank the millions of people who have shown their love for Charlie here in Phoenix, across America, and worldwide. I want to thank my husband's dear friend, Vice President Vance, and his phenomenal wife, Usha, for their love and support. You guys honored my husband so well, bringing him home. You both are tremendous. I want to thank President Trump and his incredible family for the same. Mr. President, my husband loved you. And he knew that you loved him too. He did. Your friendship was amazing. You supported him so well, as did he for you. 2 days ago, my husband, Charlie, went to see the face of his Savior and his God. Charlie always said that when he was gone, he wanted to be remembered for his courage and for his faith. And one of the final conversations that he had on this earth, my husband witnessed for his Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Now and for all eternity, he will stand at his Savior's side, wearing the glorious crown of a martyr. Charlie loved life. He loved his life. He loved America. He loved nature, which helped him always bring him closer to God. He loved the Chicago Cubs. And my goodness, did he love the Oregon Ducks. Want me to say go Ducks, so I have to since they play on Saturday. So go Ducks. But most of all, Charlie loved his children, and he loved me with all of his heart, and I knew that. Every day I knew that. He made sure I knew that every day. Every day he would ask me, how can I serve you better? How can I be a better husband? How can I be a better father? Every day. Every day. Such a good man. He still is a good man. He was the perfect father. He was the perfect husband. Charlie always believed that God's design for marriage and the family was absolutely amazing, and it is. It is, and it was the greatest joy of his life. And over, he would tell all these young people to come and find their future spouse, become wives and husbands and parents. And the reason why is because he wanted you all to experience what he had and still has. He wanted everyone to bring heaven into this earth through love and joy that comes from raising a family. It's beautiful. Charlie always said that if he ever ran for office, I know a lot of you asked if he ever was going to, but privately he told me if he ever did run for office that his top priority would be to revive the American family. That was his priority. One of Charlie's favorite Bible verses was Ephesians 5, verse 25. Husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her. My husband laid down his life for me, for our nation, for our children. He showed the ultimate and true covenantal love. I will never, ever have the words to describe the loss that I feel in my heart. I honestly have no idea what any of this means. I know that God does, but I don't. But Charlie, baby, I know you do too. I know you do. So does our Lord. And our world is filled with evil. But our God, you guys, our God is so good. He's so incredibly good. And we know that for those who love God, all things work together for good, for those who are called according to his purpose. Already I have seen the worldwide outpouring of love for my husband. I've heard the testimonies from people my husband inspired to get married, to start families, to seek out a relationship with God. It's the most important one of all. The evildoers responsible for my husband's assassination have no idea what they have done. They killed Charlie because he preached a message of patriotism, faith, and of God's merciful love. But they should all know this. If you thought that my husband's mission was powerful before, You have no idea. You have no idea what you just have unleashed across this entire country and this world. You have no idea. You have no idea the fire that you have ignited within this wife. The cries of this widow will echo around the world like a battle cry. To everyone listening tonight across America, the movement my husband built will not die. It won't. I refuse to let that happen. It will not die. All of us will refuse to let that happen. No one will ever forget my husband's name, and I will make sure of it. It will become stronger, bolder, louder, and greater than ever. My husband's mission will not end, not even for a moment. And one of Charlie's greatest talents was his ability, this phenomenal ability to choose great people to follow him. He could always find the ones who could handle any setback. And it's almost like he knew. He could see it in you. Even when you couldn't see it in yourself, he just knew. He knew you could handle it. You thought you only had 5% left, and he knew you had 15. He knew you were ready to go that extra mile even when you didn't. He always challenged people around him to work harder and to be better. He never gave up. And I love knowing that one of his mottos was never surrender. So I want to tell you that we'll never surrender. We never will. Ever. Ever. Our campus tour this fall will continue. There will be even more tours in the years to come. America Fest here in Phoenix this December will go on. It will be greater than ever. The radio and podcast show that he was so proud of will go on. And in a world filled with chaos, doubt, and uncertainty, my husband's voice will remain. And it will ring out louder and more clearly than ever. And his wisdom will endure. My favorite too, but my husband's favorite word in the English language was earn. He would call all of you to be people of action who earn the future America deserves. So to all of the young people who felt inspired by my husband's faith and hard work, all of you already know what Charlie would want you to do. You know. You know. If you're in high school or if you're in college, go find your local Turning Point USA chapter. Join it. Stay involved. He wants you to make a difference. And you can. You can. The movement's not going anywhere, and it will only grow stronger when you join it. If there isn't a chapter, you can't find one, then start one. There is no excuse. You can start one. And as my husband used to say in this room, every single day, if you want to get involved, the best way you can do that is going to tpusa.com. That's what he would say every day from this chair. Every single day. I watched his show every day, and he would always say, if you want to get involved, go to tpusa.com. If you're a pastor, join our movement at TPUSA Faith. And if you're a parent, I highly recommend that you come to America Fest in December. Sign up right now for that because we would love to see you. I would love to see you. Charlie would. He'll be there. He'll be there in spirit. Bring your kids, bring your family. But most important of all, if you aren't a member of a church, I beg you to join one. A Bible-believing church. Our battle is not simply a political one. Above all, it is spiritual. It is spiritual. The spiritual warfare is palpable. Charlie loved his Savior with all of his heart, and he wanted every one of you to know him too. He wanted everyone to know that if they confess the Lord Jesus Christ who rose from the dead, then they will be saved. Hear me when I say this, nobody is ever too young to know the gospel. Nobody. Nobody is ever too young to get involved with saving this beautiful country, this country my husband loved and still loves. And nobody is ever too old either. There's no age limit. I know my husband is still here. He's watching over us. I don't remember the last time I slept. I couldn't sleep last night. And Charlie, baby. Charlie, I promise I will never let your legacy die, baby. I won't. I promise I'll make Turning Point USA the biggest thing that this nation has ever seen. I promise. Oh, Charlie, I love you. I love you, baby. Rest in the arms of our Lord as he blankets you with the words I know your heart always strived to hear. Well done, my good and faithful servant. When I got home last night, Gigi, our daughter, just ran into my arms. And I talked to her and she said, Mommy, I missed you. I said, I miss you too, baby. She goes, where's Daddy? What do you tell a 3-year-old? She's 3. I said, baby, Daddy loves you so much. Don't you worry. He's on a work trip with Jesus, so he can afford your blueberry budget. And my goodness, am I so humbled to witness, Charlie, you alongside Jesus right now, doing what you always want to do, baby. Making heaven crowded, right? That's what it's all about. Making heaven crowded. I can't wait to see you again one day. Thank you all again who love my husband, who supported him, who wrote him an email every single day during his radio show. He read all of them. All of them. God bless you all. And may God bless America.
Black Flag Armory offers top brand affordable rifles, shotguns, handguns, and gear. We also offer an array of classes emphasizing safety, self-defense, and accuracy. We strive to provide the absolute best possible experience when buying a firearm. Family friendly for every skill level, Black Flag Armory in Medford and Grants Pass. Online at blackflagarms.com or 541-499-0779. 541-499-0779.
21,000 interviews, that's a big milestone. It's huge. My first adventure into anything that would have been political was the late Senator Mark Hatfield. And he said, I'm available for an interview. And so I ran into the studio and I interrupted the programming and I flipped the switch and went on live on the air with him. We had an interesting exchange. And that was kind of my first political interview of anybody that was of notoriety.
Hey, this is Ed, co-owner of Visiting Angels. To continue to serve our seniors, we need more caregivers with a heart to serve. Our mission statement is honoring the art of giving, which means we honor you, the caregiver. We know it's our people that make Visiting Angels the best in-home care provider and a great place to work. Come be our next amazing caregiver. Give us a call or apply online. At Visiting Angels, we're committed to you because we honor the art of giving.
During the time that I reached out to the Salvation Army, I was like at my last hope. And Salvation Army really provided that hope and stability that I needed. And that's why I'm grateful, is because without that, my kids would have grown up too fast.
You should donate to the Salvation Army because every dollar that you give goes directly to changing lives here in our community.
Okay, welcome back, and here we are a little past the hour here in the second part of this today. I had the high honor on a couple occasions of interviewing the late Charlie Kirk, and my last interview with him was pretty stunning, and so I thought I would share that with you today. This was done back in June of last year, so about a year ago this time when we had a chance to sit down with Charlie. So here's my interview with Charlie Kirk. And I am so honored to have our guest with us today. You've seen him all over the place. You hear him all over the place. You probably have read his books. And now he's made it to the big time. He's on theDove. And I'm talking about Charlie Kirk. He's the founder and the president of Turning Point USA. He's the host of The Charlie Kirk Show and the author of 4 books, including the #1 Amazon in New York bestseller, the MAGA Doctrine, The Only Ideas That Will Win in the Future, and his latest book, which we want to talk to him today about, The Right-Wing Revolution, How to Beat the Woke and to Save the West. Charlie, good to see you, friend. How are you?
Thank you. God bless you. Thanks for having me.
You
I'm doing
bet.
Great.
Where are we Skyping you in from? Where are you?
I'm in Scottsdale, Arizona. This is our home studio. So we just got done with a big event with Donald Trump and in Detroit, Michigan. So we have 2 babies under 2. We just have a 1-month-old. And I have a new book coming out. So we're doing everything that we can here, but live from Scottsdale, Arizona.
Well, God bless you. Welcome to the program. When do you sleep, or do you?
A little bit, 3 hours here, 4 hours there, but I have a great wife who really takes everything on and allows me to write books and host events and hire ballot chasers and start college and high school chapters. So praise God, we're doing great.
Thank you. And thank you for what you do. Thank you for your time and thank you for your work. All right. So what inspired you to write the book, Right-Wing Revolution?
Yeah, so it really has turned out to be incredibly apt, considering what is happening in the West right now. A lot of people are wondering, how do we win? What is the path forward? And it's more than just a political book. It's about how we as individuals try to regain the idea of a virtuous society, of a good society, of a beautiful society. And so first we diagnose what is the woke and talk about how wokeism and Marxism is basically the same thing, how they've taken over almost the entire society. And we talk about how this entire civilization now needs a course correction. It sounds, right-wing revolution, that's really radical. No, it's actually about recentering the country back to ordinary, agreed-upon norms and customs that we would have had 20 or 30 years ago, like having a border, like not having drag queens dance in front of children, like having a stable currency. These are things that we inherited from my parents' generation, and it no longer exists anymore. And so it's going to require a course correction. The whole idea of the book, Right-Wing Revolution, is talking about how it first starts with self, everything from how you could change your attitude to use your agency to become a better citizen, to become a better spouse, to become a better person, to become a better follower of God. We talk about how the hyper-secularization of the country has resulted in so much of this moral chaos. And then we finally, in the book, we talk about a battle plan, actual specific steps that are necessary for people to take and to take terrain back from these woke Marxists. People can find the book at 45books.com. That's 45books.com. It's one of my favorite projects I've ever worked on. It's very, very busy right now, it being an election season, but I think it's very necessary because in the Western world right now, we are seeing this trend. We are seeing it in the Netherlands. We're seeing it in France. We're seeing it in Argentina. We've seen it in El Salvador. All across the Western world, it seems as if everyday citizens are demanding a course correction back to stability and normalcy and order.
Beautifully said. So, some basics. How would you describe wokeism?
Wokeism is calling everything unjust until you control it. That's the best summary I could give. That is the short summary. So basically constantly complaining and constantly pointing your finger at an institution or a person. Until then, you control it. So it is a means to control. I hope people understand that. It is not about liberation. It is about domination. And that sort of nuance is incredibly critical and important because wokeism has tended to take everything over. They've taken over the CIA, taken over the FBI, they've taken over the Department of Justice, they've taken over Goldman Sachs, taken over Google. They operate very similar to a virus or a bacterial infection. I'm not the first one to say that. Elon Musk and many other people have called it the woke mind virus. But they are able to weaponize complaints and weaponize opposition and to be able to take over these institutions. And so at its core, wokeism is Marxism. It's a way of viewing the world of haves and have-nots or oppressor and oppressed. It is not about trying to lift up the individual or to build the American family. Wokeism seeks to do three things: to demolish the connection that an individual has with the divine, so make the society more secular, to abolish the American family and to really ruin the nuclear family, and then finally to get rid of private property, that you can no longer own stuff, that you are a nation of renters. We are quickly becoming that here in America, which I think is one of the biggest political issues happening in the West. And so wokeism also introduces many of these radical racial and sexual ideas that we see presented to our children because they pose it as a way of liberation, but in reality, they just want control of the West because they could not build anything themselves.
All right, so there is a pushback, there is an awakening. Is it enough?
It's not enough, but it's a great start. And so that's what we talk about in the book, is that it's going to require a philosophical, moral, cultural, and spiritual sea change. It's going to require not just people complaining at their school board, but we now have to do the work the same way the Marxists have done the work over the last 50 or 60 years. And I go into detail what that looks like. And I am uniquely positioned to talk about this because we run a national organization, Turning Point USA, and Turning Point Action, that actually does this work every single day. And we confront head-on the objections. A lot of decent people would rather watch the Dallas Cowboys, drink beer at night and raise their kids. That's all fine, but it's actually going to require now a little bit of sacrifice. Not necessarily always just prioritizing pleasure and rest. You might have to now go to the street, run for state rep or county commissioner, or take over your local Republican Party to register new voters, or even beyond that, start a new homeschool co-op. The amount of activism that is now required by the citizenry is immense because we've allowed these bad people to take over the entire civilization and to devour the nation as we know it. So the pushback is a good start, but it is not enough.
Where do you think the faith community is in this pushback?
This is a very important topic for me. I'm a devout and committed Christian. Jesus Christ is King and Lord of my life. Right back here, actually, I have the 10 Commandments right there. And so the faith community has been lackluster and largely abysmal. I talk about this in the book. I mean, there are some amazing pastors out there. We also run TPUSA Faith, and there's some great leaders of faith. But the vast majority of Christians do not care about the country. They don't even vote. They aren't engaged on the local level, and they're rather passive. And I believe we will be judged because of that. We are commanded to do two things: to care about your nation, Jeremiah 29:7, which is demand the welfare of the nation that you are in because your welfare is tied to your nation's welfare, and then to hate evil, Psalm 97:10, and that is in the command in the Hebrew. Let those of you who love the Lord hate evil. And so has the Christian community done a good job of those two things? No. In fact, most Christians I run into say, God is done with America. It doesn't matter. The end is coming. Eschatology, pre-trib, premillennial. So what's the point? I believe these are unclean spirits that get us into apathy and malaise. And I just want to be clear. There are so many great committed Christians that are out there that are fighting, but it is not 30%. It's not 40%. It's not 70%. It's maybe 10 to 15% that really get it, that are filled with the Spirit, that believe the Word and love God's commands and love the Lord with all their heart, soul, strength, and mind, and actually want to go contest for His will in the public arena. So one of the reasons why America is in the moral death spiral that it is in is because the American church has failed on this topic over the last couple decades.
I'm so glad you said that, because it seems to me that cynicism within the faith community is fourth-stage cancer. And if we don't eradicate it, we're in trouble.
No, that's right. And how can you as a Christian be cynical? I actually doubt you're a true Christian if you're cynical, because then you don't actually believe that Jesus is king and that Jesus is king over everything and coming at the end, right, and that God is sovereign. So where does that cynicism come from? And so, again, I'm not here to be the guy that says, oh, you're not a Christian if, but I want somebody to explain to me how you can be a Spirit-filled, born-again believer and also have cynicism be your attitude. I don't see how that's possible. And it's actually completely incongruent with Christianity and with the hope and the joy that we have that Jesus Christ died for us and that we get life everlasting. That should be our attitude, one of happy warriors, one of joy. Instead, I see a darkness and a despondency. In fact, I know this will be a shock to some of your listeners and viewers. I see more activism, more joy, and more happiness from the secular members at Turning Point USA and Turning Point Action than the Christians. Most Christians are more lazy. They really don't care much about their country. They are filled with negativity. And I hope we can change that. And again, if the church does not take its rightful role as counselor to the king, the civilization will cease to exist.
I know that's hard for you to say, Charlie, and I want to say thank you for saying it, because one of my concerns is that we as believers, we pride ourselves in the knowledge of knowing what the other side has done or is doing, but we stop there. It doesn't turn into any kind of an action to a pushback. We just came through our primary in Oregon, 39% turnout statewide. I mean, I go like, why am I on the air every day? You know, do you feel that way once in a while?
Yes and no. I mean, I don't allow myself to get too down. Again, I've gotten down. When Kerry Lake should have become governor of Arizona, I got down for a while. That was a couple weeks of darkness. But then I'm thrilled because I have agency. And so I try to do something to fix it. And that I believe the Lord gives us the ability to follow him or to rebel against him. And so regardless of all the negativity around us, we're not the first group of believers to experience oppression or negativity. That is not unique to us. In fact, that's the norm. The fact that we've had 30 or 40 or 50 years of a Pax Romana kind of Christian chapter in this country is rather unique and is not actually something that most Christians have experienced. And so, yes, I mean, the church has been very underwhelming. They care more about being accepted by the world than defending and advancing the word. But look, I don't let it get me down because I actually put the pressure on myself. What am I doing? Am I fighting the hardest that I've fought? I've traveled 3,000 days over the last decade. We have over 600 full-time people on staff between both Turning Points. We have our podcast, our radio show, our social media machine, obviously our book, Right Wing Revolution. So I'm doing my part, and I can rest in that, because what I think is that when people, they get upset, the only reason to get depressed is if you didn't fight.
Yeah, well said. So back to the book, Beating Woke and Save the West. How would you summarize all that? How do we beat this thing?
So first and foremost, we must understand that the woke hate truth. And so you must be willing to say truth in every arena. And most Christians, and I know this is a more faith-based conversation, so I'm happy to say this, most Christians do not do this. They do not profess truth. They want to keep their job or they want to keep their friends. And so they fit neatly into a secular world. Truth is the immune system response against the woke. So one of the things I talk about in the book is that truth and justice are the immune system of any healthy civilization. So when truth and justice are suppressed, then a virus or a bacterial infection can take over. So how do you then reignite the immune system? Is you have to start saying truth and pursuing justice, which, by the way, it says that in Micah 6:8, which is to pursue justice with a humble heart, to love the Lord your God. And so both of those things are incredibly necessary. The second thing is that we must take applied action, and it starts with you, the individual. It starts with no longer watching pornography, hopefully no longer drinking alcohol, definitely not doing drugs, becoming a local activist, losing weight and getting yourself in shape. I know these things might be radical and might sound judgmental or legalistic to some of your audience, but how can I possibly tell you that the country is worth saving if you won't make improvements for yourself to make yourself the best possible citizen? And so that I find that there is a kind of a disconnect where people want a politician to save them and they'll continue with their slothful and gluttonous lifestyle. This book goes right after it, which is that, no, it has to start with you, is that you get the leaders that you deserve. And if you're going out to the local McDonald's on your motor cart with type 2 diabetes, eating 3 Big Macs saying, oh man, I really wish the country would save me, but like, you get the country you deserve. I'm sorry. And so I know that's tough love for some people to hear, but it's going to require a revival and a renewal of the individual and the self. And that's God cares about his relationship with you first and foremost. And then finally, we have to rebuild the American family. Again, American Christianity has failed remarkably in this. 50% of all American Christians will end up getting divorced in their lifestyle, infidelity, pornographic use. In the 10 Commandments, which I have right behind me, which, of course, is the bridge commandment between our connection to the divine and our relationship between our fellow man, is honor your mother and father so that you may live long in the land of which you are in. It is the only one of the 10 Commandments that involves your nation, America, and a promise. So let me replace it. Honor your mother and father so that you may live long in America, the land in which I have given you. We do a terrible job of this, and the church is largely to blame. And so, yes, those are just some of the action items that we can use forward.
All right, the book is entitled Right Wing Revolution, How to Beat the Woke and Save the West. There's a picture of the cover of the book on the screen there by Charlie Kirk. You can go to 45books.com. That's one place you can get it. I'm sure you can get it online at other places. Charlie's website is TPUSA. That's turningpointusa.com. Very resourceful, and support him. He's a frontline warrior out there doing a great job. Charlie, thank you for your time. We value it greatly. You. Stay in the fight, buddy. We need you.
We will. Thanks so much.
God bless you.
Hi, I'm Sherry Breslin with Rogue Valley Security. Whether it's alarms, cameras, keyless entry, or even Starlink, we tailor solutions for your home or business. We believe in professionalism, excellence, and integrity. Every job, every time. Visit RogueValleySecurity.com.
The threat of wildfire poses a growing risk to Oregonians. You can prepare now by taking 3 important steps. Create a home inventory. Make copies of important financial records, and contact your insurance company to make sure you have the right amounts and types of home insurance coverage. Be wildfire ready by being insurance ready. Visit dfr.oregon.gov/prepare now to learn how.
Come fall in love with Northridge Senior Living, where contemporary sunlit interiors meet old world elegance. Walk through our lovely hallways and enjoy the fun staff-led activities. Forge lasting friendships with other residents and our exceptional caregivers. Dine in style. Gather near the fireplace under breathtaking chandeliers. Our reasonably priced apartments are spacious with private balconies. Northridge is Christian-owned and operated, pet-friendly, and only 2 blocks from Asante Rogue Regional Medical Center. On-site 24/7 in-home care is available. We also offer senior adult daycare where your loved one can spend the day with us and the evenings with you. Northridge Senior Living, your home.
Over 21,000 interviews, over 40 plus years. It's quite a feat, and one person can claim this huge milestone. The Dove's Perry Atkinson. Since 1983, Perry has been taking you up close to newsmakers, politics, world affairs, and a who's who of ministry leaders to encourage your walk with Christ. Tap into his experience and knowledge every weekday, right here, only on the Dove TV and radio.
Hey, this is Ed, co-owner of Visiting Angels. To continue to serve our seniors, we need more caregivers with a heart to serve. Our mission statement is honoring the art of giving, which means we honor you, the caregiver. We know it's our people that make Visiting Angels the best in-home care provider and a great place to work. Come be our next amazing caregiver. Give us a call or apply online. At Visiting Angels, we're committed to you because we honor the art of giving.
At Sweet Tea Express, we've got you covered. Order at the counter and our friendly service staff will do the rest. Burgers, salads, sandwiches, barbecue platters, sides, and more. Smoked, grilled, and served to perfection. Sweet Tea Express. Breakfast, burgers, and barbecue.
Okay, welcome back. Kind of a different day. Bill Gallagher's in the house with me today. He's the founder of TeamWorks. He's also a pastoral counselor with many, many, many years of experience under his belt. He does have a website, teamworks-works.com, where you can get a hold of him, where he does all kinds of good things with your team and staff. But I've asked Bill to come in today. We just played Bill, Charlie Kirk's wife's message to the nation.
Mm-hmm.
It was amazing.
Yes.
I just shared with them the last interview I had with Charlie Kirk about a year ago. And we are in a state of shock in this country. There's a spirit of numbness over the top of us.
Yeah.
The breakouts over the weekend were all over the board for, I think we had 11 different countries have pro-Christian vigils over the weekend. Thousands, hundreds of thousands of people attending these.
Yeah.
And then we had those who celebrated his death. We're in shock.
Yeah.
We're numb. I still cannot process. I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
For the position we are here at the Dove, how do you talk about this without upsetting people? People are numb. I think in today's world we just like to go away. But I was thinking in biblical times when somebody died, they mourned for weeks.
Oh, yes, yes.
You know.
Yes.
But we just want to sweep it under the carpet and move on and point fingers.
And that's inappropriate. We'll talk about the grief, the stages of grief for our country here in a few minutes, but it is typical, expected, even God-given when we lose a loved one or we go through grief like this, that we go through shock and we feel numb.
Mm-hmm.
Shock says, I cannot wrap my head around what has just happened. And then grief, of course, is just crushing to the spirit and the heart. Bless his wife for her 15 minutes of sharing. I mean, I thought 2 days after, man, that seemed really soon, but she did it and did a fine job. But everybody's in shock. The people that loved him are in shock. Mm-hmm. And that's the first phase in losing someone. It's almost like a numbness. It's when you go through shock, like if you're injured, you go through shock, your body doesn't feel any pain.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of a gift from God, actually. Mm-hmm. When we go through great, tremendous life, it could be divorce, it could be death, it could be many other things that send us into this deep, deep, dark, grievous place. Numbness is a grief that helps us get by for a while. And so the state of shock is a state of more like disbelief. Denial's right after that. Denial says, denial does what you just said. Some people, they're so overwhelmed, they just, you know what? Still our country, let's move on, let's not talk about it, I just don't want to hear it anymore. That's called denial.
Mm-hmm.
So when we go through grief like this, as a country, as an individual, as a family, the Lord wants us to lean in to the phases we go through because it's part of the healing. People, let's talk on a broader level now, people that lose a loved one, and it's so overwhelming, they can't even put it to words, and the feelings are the worst they've ever had. Many people just put it aside and say, I'm just going to go on living like I always did, and they don't go through the stages of God-given grief. God-given grief.
Mm-hmm.
And 30 years later, they're angry and they don't know why. 20 years later, they're depressed and they don't know why. Because they didn't go through the God-given process of these stages. Shock and numbness being the first one.
Okay, so I think what I'm trying to also say to ourselves and to our viewers and listeners, we need to give this a lot of time, even though today's Monday and you got to get back to work.
Oh my gosh, it's not even realistic. It's a plastic way of living life.
Yeah. A lot of people feel the sadness and they never knew him.
Yeah, I never knew him. I've seen him on Fox, and I never knew him. But I'm deeply grieved because of what he represented. He was high-end, gospel-centered.
He used Christian apologetics to address cultural issues.
Yes, like Jesus did. That's what Jesus did.
And without anger.
Yeah.
He even got on his fellow followers, so to speak, if I can use that, people who were on his team, when they started to boo somebody that was giving him a bad time, he said, no, let him talk.
Yeah.
Let him talk.
And he talked with controversial people, too.
Yeah.
I've noticed it. Very controversial, but he seemed to hold it together, and he never got away from the truth.
Are we immune to killing in this country now?
I think we're getting used to it. Sadly enough, we're getting so used to it, and it's just...
What happened to the value of life at any cost?
Well, it's not shocking, especially, you know, what Jesus said, if the world hated me, what's the rest of it?
Yeah, they're going to hate you.
They're going to hate you. So on one hand, it's violating and shocking, and we can't wrap our head around it. On the other hand, Jesus said this would happen. If the world hated me, it will hate you. So, you know, there's just a couple things I want to share too real quick, and then we can get into the cycle. But in 197 AD, Tertullian, who was the modern day theologian of that day, right when persecution was beginning, okay, it was getting really, really scary. That's when they were hiding in the catacombs. You've been in the catacombs. Yeah. Tertullian said, the blood of the martyrs in this man, based on definition of his faith being his primary concern, he was killed for his faith. Based on that, he's a martyr.
Yes.
Okay. Tertullian said, the blood of the martyrs is the seed of the church. Now, the way God has it, when you plant seeds, things grow bigger and larger. Okay. In Acts chapter 7, the first martyr was Stephen. And he was martyred by the rulers of his day, the high priest. And guess who stood in the crowd holding their cloaks as they stoned him to death? Saul. Soon to be the Apostle Paul. That's also applicable today. We know of the people mocking the death. Apostle Saul did that, and then he eventually came to Christ and was his main voice. He wrote 12 of the books of the Scripture, right? And then he also was martyred.
That's
so
a great point.
The biblical principle in the Scripture, folks that are grieving, and I'm not just throwing passages at you. I understand the pain, but you also need to see the big picture. The big picture, like his wife said, you have no idea, evil people, what you've done. You have unleashed a movement that is far greater than it was.
Yeah.
Because of what you've done. The seed of the martyr is the seed of the church. You have awakened a monster.
Okay.
By the way, one more thing. I just heard on the news yesterday that some of the followers of Charlie, there was at least within this program, right, 1.2 million in 48 hours after his death. It's grown to 12 million. That's not stopping.
They've had 18,000 requests for Turning Point chapters to be started.
18,000. So, you know,
I don't know how they qualify that, but apparently the reports say that I think he had numerous chapters, and then of course he has a lot of people who were subscribers and all that. I get that, but they had 18,000 chapters requests to become chapters across the world, and you kind of go, okay. So to your point, this is blossoming out. So. How do we keep centered here? Because most people who oppose Charlie will say he was a political activist doing things that they don't believe in.
Yeah.
But the basis of everything he did was his faith. In fact, he was asked the question, if you were ever killed, we had that on the air today.
Yeah.
if you were to lose your life, what would you want to be remembered for? He said, I want to be remembered for my faith.
My faith. He said, I want to be remembered for my faith, and I want to have courage always.
Yeah.
I want to encourage people in the truth. I want to be remembered for my faith. So his faith was primary. His faith was pushing his other message.
Right, right, yeah.
So, I mean, this is a movement that, so I get, it's a twofold thing. As people, until we get to heaven, we have to go through the grief process and the motions and weep and question why, Lord. And we have to go through all that. That's part of the process. Mm-hmm. But the bigger picture is the seed of the martyrs is the growth of the church, and the gospel message is going to travel. We got to think kingdom. We got to think about injustice and what happened and go through our tears, but we cannot forget what the Lord's doing as a result of that for the kingdom of God.
All right, so what we have here is the loss of a very prominent person, if I can use that term, obviously a young husband, loving father, incredible person who touched lives all over the world. But in addition to the loss of Charlie is the scar on America.
Ugh.
For those of us who have lived through President Kennedy's assassination, RFK Jr.'s assassination, Martin Luther King, President Ford being shot, President Reagan being shot, President Trump being shot, and then this.
Yeah.
You're sitting here going, something's happened to the soul of America. We're grieving for that level too.
Yes.
It's kind of like pain on top of pain.
And Timothy does say that as time goes on, we'll grow from bad to worse. And that's the nature of this life. Christ is going to come back and call us to him forever. But it's supposed to go from bad to worse, and we're seeing darkness get darker. But of course, as you know, the darker the sky, the brighter the stars.
Yeah, right.
So the Lord is working through it and in our lives.
All right, so we're in this shock and denial stage. I think you also called it shock and awe denial, all wrapped together.
Yeah.
And some people are trying to pass it off, whatever. But then comes this stage called anger. And I have to tell you that by Saturday afternoon, actually, by Friday night, I was walking in my backyard, and I really had to talk myself to. I was pretty angry, and I think what I was angry over was that. I want to say this carefully, but I was like, God, why does a good guy go down like this?
Yeah, have you ever seen him just as you've been a pastor as well in the past? I mean, have you ever seen the Lord take his finest first?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's that say about you and I? We're still around.
Okay, both in our 70s on top of that. Yeah.
No, but the point being is, I thought, well, he's so innocent. Why? And I understand where you're going with this, but is it okay to be angry?
It is okay to be angry. It's preferred that we're angry. Angry at the government, angry at the man that killed him, angry at the I don't want to get political, but angry at messages in our country that are not based on godly truth.
Mm-hmm.
Anger at our family that maybe doesn't believe the same way we do, politically or spiritually.
Mm-hmm.
Anger. And all of that is normal, expected. Go through it, lean in it. Don't let it last longer than it should. Don't stay stuck in anger till it becomes bitterness.
Ooh, how do you know when that happens?
Then you're angry at everybody. You never pull yourself out of it. It's like you have just a harsh, bittersweet look on your face, and you just turn to total skepticism. That's when your anger's gone too far.
All right, we're going to run out of time.
Yep.
Then what do you mean by bargaining?
Bargaining mean it's the same as guilt. So if it's before, say you have a loved one that's might die, Lord, I'll do anything. They're like foxhole prayers. I'll do anything, just save the life. But it also is guilt. It's if I could have only been a part of Charlie's movement, if I could have only come to Christ sooner, if I could have, it's all of the regrets and the guilt. The shoulda, wouldas. Yeah. They're the shoulda, wouldas.
Yeah.
That's bargaining. And then you got depression, despair, and sadness. Okay? Now, we all go through that. Some of us are feeling that right now. Some of us are in the anger stage. Some of us are still kind of shocked. Some of us are feeling a little bad, like, man, I wish I would have been more involved with the movement that he, started. Some of us are still going, I can't believe this is getting away from us. Our world is getting too dark. Lord, where are you in this? And then the final phase is adjustment and acceptance, where we go, you know what? I can start to see now. Give it a year or two. Although we'll never be supportive of how he was taken, I can start to see God's hand at work. This place is exploding with truth and a change in the universities and the gospel message. That's acceptance, and then you move on to a healthier life.
Okay.
That's the now the one thing is, and by the way, I have these available for people if they want to get one, the grief cycle. Could you show that?
Yeah, you got it up.
Has it been on the screen?
Yeah,
I haven't seen it at all.
There it is.
Okay. The one thing that I try to get people to not do is to jump the cycle. You see where the loss is. People, like as I said earlier, it's so horrifically invasive. That they jump, and a lot of Christians feel that a Christian can't be depressed or anger. Like, what Bible are you reading?
Yeah.
I've never heard of that in my life. That's not even real. But a lot of Christians, because of this discomfort, they jump from loss and they go to acceptance and act like everything's going to work out okay. You're bitter in 30 years and you're still depressed in 20. Start leaning into the grief that God has allowed for our country. Trust the Lord. He's going to take us through it. And He'll weep with you too, by the way. We need to weep with those who weep.
Well, this is helpful, very helpful. And got about a minute. What advice would you give us as a country today?
The advice that I give is what the Apostle Paul wrote not long before he also was martyred. He said, "For me to live is Christ, and to die is gain." When I think of Charlie, that's what the verse that comes to my mind. For me to live is Christ, and to die is gain. And then he said this right before his execution in Timothy: "I have fought the good fight. I have finished the race. I have kept the faith. Therefore there is laid up for me a crown of righteousness, which the Lord, the righteous judge, will award to me on that day, and not only to me, but also all who have loved his appearing." That includes Charlie, you, me, and any other believer out there. There's hope.
Good stuff. Thank you, brother.
All right, brother.
Let me say to our viewers and listeners, teamworks-works.com is Bill's website. You can go there. He does all kinds of counseling, but primarily also works with organizations and all kinds of issues with staff, good things, and helping you solve maybe some struggles. Check him out. teamworks-works.com, and he'll come to your organization and help you. Thank you, pal.
Thank you, bud, for having me.
God bless you. All right.
At Rogue Hearing in Phoenix, we help you hear life again, clearly and comfortably. From expert hearing tests to custom aids and more, the team at Rogue Hearing delivers care you can trust. Rogue Hearing in Phoenix at the shops at Exit 24. Personalized hearing care right here at home.
At Kelly's Automotive Service,
being good stewards of